The Legion of Soldiers, the strongest civilization for hire. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1 Prologue. My king. The escort fleet has been completely destroyed. Please enter the escape pod immediately. I will lead this warship to fight to the death to buy time for my king to escape. A warrior holding a black sword half knelt in front of Chen, looking at the man in front of him. Chen sighed. Xingfeng, how long have you followed me to fight in the star field? Xingfeng looked up at Chen and was a little surprised, but then he seemed to understand something and lowered his head and said, My king, I have followed you for 930 years, fought in 82 star systems, and witnessed the growth of my Moling civilization from a first-class civilization to an 8th-class civilization. Yes, 1,000 years have passed in the blink of an eye, and I am tired too. Chen looked out the window, where millions of warships surrounded the warship where Chen was. 1,000 years ago, Chen had just inherited his father's business and became the youngest richest man in the world in history. Chen's mother died when he was 3 years old, and when Chen's father died, he was only 18 years old. At that time, Chen was busy with various things within the company, but suddenly he received a message. The message was sent by a person called Dream World. He asked Chen if he was willing to recharge the Dream World, and said that the Dream World would become a place for all human beings to strive in the future. Chen, who was exhausted by various affairs, immediately chose no, but just after he chose, he was teleported to the Dream World. He became the king of the first-class civilization, the Moling civilization. Later, Chen slowly learned that this world was transformed by the Dream World from a science fiction animation on Blue Star that was in line with the technological system of the Great Universe civilization at that time. All the people on Blue Star were teleported to this universe and became the king of a first-class civilization. Everyone can get a chance to recharge before entering the Dream World, and this recharge opportunity will also change this person's life. Because Chen did not recharge a penny at the beginning, he did not get any benefits from the recharger. But despite this, Chen still relied on his own efforts to make his civilization an 8th-class civilization. The limit of the entire universe can only be a 10th-level civilization. The Death God civilization of Karl, the strongest NPC at that time, had just reached the 10th-level civilization, the highest level of civilization among the people of Blue Star, who are players, is only the 8th level. But the Dream World has tasks. There are also Blue Star in the solar system. In this universe, players will be divided into 2 factions, one to protect the solar system and the other to invade the solar system. Before this ultimate task begins, everyone will have 900 years to prepare. Chen, who had upgraded his civilization to a 7th level civilization 100 years ago, chose to protect the Earth. After a crazy battle of nearly 10 billion civilizations for 100 years, the side that protected the Earth lost. The players who chose this camp were defeated, and the NPC civilization willing to protect Blue Star also suffered a catastrophe. So there was this scene that Chen was going through now. My king, Xingfeng wanted to speak, but was interrupted by Chen. Xingfeng, you are a 2nd-generation divine body, and I am a 3rd-generation divine body. There are also 16 1st-generation divine bodies and 185th-generation super soldiers on this warship. Do you know what this means? Chen's eyes seemed to be burning with fire. I don't know. This means that we still have the strength to fight. Chen laughed. Even if there are tens of millions of warships there, what's the problem? I dare to fight. Xingfeng, do you dare to follow me for the last time? I am willing to follow my king forever. Okay, warriors of my Moling civilization, do you dare to follow me again? We are willing to go. The less than 200 warriors left in the entire Moling civilization shouted this sentence at the top of their voices. In this battle, the Moling civilization was destroyed. Chen, the lord of Moling, fought 8 3rd-generation divine bodies alone, killed 2, and died himself. Chapter 2. Charge, charge, charge. Hiss, my head hurts. Was all that a dream? Mo Chen raised his head and looked around. This was his office. There were several stacks of documents waiting to be reviewed on his desk, and a cup of coffee was still steaming. No, dreams can't be that real. These things really happened. In other words, I went back to 1,000 years ago? Mo Chen looked at the calendar beside him. It was June 21, 2104, and it was 9 o'clock a.m. In his vague impression, he seemed to be teleported into the dream world on this day, and in the afternoon of that day. In other words, he still had a few hours to prepare. If I remember correctly, the recharge amount in the dream world is not based on how much money a person has in his bank account, but seems to be based on the total valuation of all the industries that person has added up. Mo Chen lowered his head and began to think. Then all I have to do now is… Mo Chen looked at the computer on the table. The dream world seems to be based on an anime called Heroes Company. Although someone in the past publicly posted the plot of Heroes Company on the game forum, but the specific details still need to be looked at again. Mo Chen turned on the computer. The anime Heroes Company is divided into 7 parts. They are Super Seminary I to Super Seminary 4 and Heroes Company I to Heroes Company 3. But in fact, there is a certain conflict between the plots of Heroes Company and Super Seminary, so the Dream World also made changes to these plots and did not copy them completely. And there are far more civilizations in this universe than those that appeared in Heroes Company. You know, the civilizations owned by players in the Dream World are only 1/10 of all civilizations in the universe. It's similar to what I know. These plots mainly take place 900 years later. The most strange thing here is the existence of Sun Wukong, and the god of time Jilin has never really appeared in either the anime or the Dream World. What kind of existence is this? Could it be the Dream World he created? No. The god of time Jilin is generally just a character in the Heroes Company, although he is the teacher of the god of death Karl. In general, the combat power shown by the god of death Karl at the end of the war should have been far greater than that of the god of time Jilin, not to mention that he even left his own computer. His computing power cannot exceed that of the god of death Karl. Knock knock. The knock on the door interrupted Mo Chen's thinking. Come in. A young female secretary walked into Mo Chen's office. Mr. Mo, more than 40 domestic and foreign companies such as Schindler and Airitas have decided to suspend cooperation with us. And Mr. Wang, he told GT about our acquisition plan in 2104. Mo Chen said before the female secretary. The female secretary was stunned. Go out. I know, but there are still Mr. Li and the others. The female secretary wanted to say something. I know everything. Go out. Mo Chen sent the female secretary away. Mo Chen remembered that when he asked for recharge in the Dream World in his previous life, he was busy with these matters. I just took over the company and they did it. It seems that my father's death is definitely not just an accident, but in my previous life until the late war, I didn't meet them. I think they probably didn't recharge a penny and were killed early. Thinking of this, Mo Chen no longer took those people to heart. Even if it is turned on at double speed, it takes a lot of time to watch 7 animations. When Mo Chen finished watching, it was already 2:30 in the afternoon. Ding! A message came on Mo Chen's mobile phone. Mo Chen took it out and took a look. The Dream World aims to evolve for all mankind. Now, the Dream World has fully covered the world. Are you willing to recharge the Dream World? Please note that this service can only be processed once in a lifetime. Sure enough, Mo Chen sighed at the message. Yes, this time, Mo Chen chose yes very decisively. The system is judging the judgment is completed. Your total net worth is estimated to be approximately 272.336258421.89 yuan. Please select the recharge amount. It seems that the shares and family property, as well as the company's hidden property value, have all been estimated. Recharge all. Recharge completed. Congratulations on reaching VIP level 10. You will be teleported to the Super God universe soon. Dear VIP user, please be prepared. This time, the voice of the Dream World appeared directly in Mo Chen's mind. VIP is indeed different. There was no sound in the previous life. Mo Chen was very abrupt and was directly teleported to the Super God universe. 1098, 321 teleportation begins. Mo Chen's eyes went dark. When he opened his eyes again, he saw a huge palace in front of him, and Chen was sitting on the throne. However, this palace was full of sci-fi style. On both sides of Chen's throne, there were even 2 laser cannons installed. Congratulations, player, for becoming the owner of a low-level civilization. Please name the civilization. Since I am reborn after death, I will be the Hail Shura. Name it Shura Civilization. The naming is successful. Congratulations on becoming the king of Shura Civilization. Now please choose the life form of the civilization. There are 3 types in total. They are the Chen body, the most perfect body in the universe, but the overall ability is mediocre. The beast body, which looks scary, but has very strong combat power. The triangle body, a special life form, mostly lives in the ocean, and has very terrible intelligence. I choose the Chen body. Now please choose the way of civilization development. The first option is the technological weapon type. The second option is the individual mechanical type. The third option is the body evolution type. Technological weapons, that is, the use of large technological weapons such as warships to fight. The individual mechanical type is to mechanically transform one's own body. The body evolution type is to mutate and evolve the body through biotechnology. I choose the single soldier mechanical type. The selection is complete. The civilization has been generated. Please develop it yourself, the distinguished user. As the system's prompt sound ended, many more functions appeared in Chen's mind, and there were also 2 values. One represents the number of divine energy, and the other represents the number of divine diamonds. The number of divine energy is currently 10,000, and the number of divine diamonds is 0, which requires money from the dream world to recharge. Let's start. Chen looked around and looked at the huge palace he owned. He believed that this time, he would definitely succeed. With the experience of his previous life and the large amount of dream world currency he now has, no player can surpass him. VIP 10 is the upper limit of VIP level. After reaching it, no matter how much you recharge, you can't upgrade it. If we find any game, there is a VIP upper limit level, but some are 10, some are 15 or 20. When I wrote it, I didn't expect so many people to be confused about it. Chapter 3 officially begins. Open the backpack, Chen muttered in his mind. In an instant, Chen appeared in a huge white space. Of course, it was only his consciousness that entered here. There were many gift bags placed in this white space. In the previous life, there was only 1 gift bag here, but now there are 12. Chen opened them one by one and began to check. Novice gift package, divine energy value of 20,000, first generation super soldier gene 1, first class technological weapon 1, first class technological battleship, and first class supercomputer. First charge gift package, divine energy value of 50,000, second generation super soldier gene 1, and first class civilization technology blueprints 100. VIP 1 gift package, divine energy value of 10,000, first generation super soldier gene 1, and first class civilization technology blueprints 10. Recharge 10 yuan to get. VLP 2 gift package, divine energy value of 50,000, first generation super soldier gene 3, and first class civilization technology blueprints 20. Recharge 50 yuan to get. VIP 3 gift package, divine energy value of 200,000, first generation super soldier gene 8, and first class civilization technology blueprints 40. 200 yuan. VIP 4 gift package, divine energy value of 1 million, a first class technology battleship, first class weapons 12, and first class civilization technology blueprints 80. 1,000 yuan. VIP 5 gift package, divine energy worth 5 million, second generation super soldier gene 1, second class civilization technology blueprint 10. 6,000 yuan. VIP 6 gift package, divine energy worth 20 million, second generation super soldier gene 3, second class civilization technology blueprint 20. 50,000. VIP 7 gift package, divine energy worth 100 million, second generation super soldier gene 8, second class civilization technology blueprint 40. 300,000. VIP 8 gift package, divine energy worth 500 million, 1 second class technology battleship, second class weapons 12, Second-class civilization technology blueprint 82 million, VIP 9 gift package, divine energy worth 2 billion, 100 times 100 times 100, light year, resource star detailed distribution map 1, 15 million, VIP 10 gift package, divine energy worth 10 billion, choose one of the 9 class civilizations, angel civilization, demon civilization, death civilization. Get the protection of one of the civilizations. Third-class supercomputer 1, 100 million. 12 gift packs can allow Chen to upgrade the Shura Civilization to the second-class civilization immediately, and at the same time, he can also light up most of the technology trees. 100 civilization blueprints can unlock the technology of the same civilization, which is divided into 5 technology branches: weapons, warships, space, divine body, and civilian comprehensive. Each of these 5 technology branches also requires 40 blueprints to unlock. At the same time, if you want to create a higher level supercomputer that can produce technology blueprints, you need 50 blueprints of the current civilization level. In his previous life, Chen spent 30 years to upgrade the Ling civilization to the second-class civilization and light up all the technology trees. Now, he only lacks 50 second-class civilization blueprints. After all, he already has a third-class supercomputer. Before this, he never thought that the VIP gift pack could be so rich. After all, the person who recharged the most in his previous life only recharged to VIP 5. Among these 12 gift packs, the most valuable are these 2 items: resource maps and the protection of one of the 3 9th-class civilizations. For a civilization that has reached the first-class civilization or above, it is very simple to draw a map of the universe around its own planet. However, the distribution of resources requires detailed exploration. With this resource map, the exploration process is omitted, and mining can be carried out directly according to one's own needs. The shelter of one of the 3 9th-class civilizations can allow one's own civilization to obtain support from that civilization when facing a catastrophe, but the relative cost is that if a war breaks out in the civilization that shelters one, then Chen needs to send his own army to assist in the battle. Death God Civilization, although it will have the strongest combat power in the future, and it is also the first to develop into a 10th-class civilization, but its camp is invading the Earth. And the Death God Civilization is a civilization that will completely ignore the life and death of its own civilization during the war. So this is definitely not an option. The Demon Civilization and the Angel Civilization have been fighting each other for many years. Although the Demon Civilization finally succeeded in defeating the supreme leader of the Angel Civilization, at this stage, the Demon Civilization is still suppressed by the Angel Civilization. Now the entire universe is under the justice order of the Angel Civilization, so I choose the Demon Civilization. Although from all aspects, it is better to join the Angel Civilization, but joining the Demon Civilization would first give him a lot of freedom. He would not be too restricted in launching invasion wars during the early development period, and the Demon Civilization might even help him fight. The various rules of the Angel Civilization would suppress his development. Secondly, the Angel Civilization is now popular with divine body wars. The emphasis is on using personal force, but what Chen wants more is to integrate technology with the divine body. That is, while developing the body, introduce semi-mechanical devices into the divine body. This way of development is heresy in the eyes of the Angel Civilization. On the contrary, the Demon Civilization would be more interested in this way of development. Dear user, the contract between you and the Demon Civilization has been completed. Within 2 months, the Demon Civilization will send a first-generation divine body demon. The voice of the dream world appeared in Chen's mind again. Sure enough, this world is very different from the one in the anime Heroes Company. In the anime, the Demon Civilization now has only a few divine bodies, and it is impossible for them to send a first-generation divine body to me. The divine bodies now are not as cheap as they will be 1,000 years later. I don't know if this demon is here to garrison or just to negotiate. This is also a pleasant surprise. The most important thing now is to develop our own civilization. Chen withdrew from the space of the dream world. Chen's palace covers an area of 4 million square meters. The interior decoration of the entire palace is very luxurious, and there are only maids. It wasn't so gorgeous before I charged money. Speaking of which, the dream world has no use for money. How come it looks like a low-quality online game? Chen sighed. Among Chen's personal maids, there is a maid named Shura. She is not only Chen's head maid, but also the person in charge of Chen's safety. Your Majesty. Shura has a very slender body and looks like a little girl, but because of her long-term martial arts practice, she gives people a special feeling. Take me to the Shura Academy. Yes, sir. Because the things in the gift packs have been used, the Shura Civilization is now actually a second-class civilization. As soon as Chen entered the academy, a white-haired old man rushed out. My king. The old man's voice was trembling. I've been waiting for you for 15 years, and you're finally here. Chen looked at the old man holding his feet, and his mouth twitched slightly. Get up. Tell me, what have you developed in the past 15 years? Reporting to my king, after 15 years of research, we have successfully developed 13 first-generation super soldier genes, 12 second-generation super soldier genes. Most of the content in the previous gift pack, as well as a lot of complaints, are omitted here. When Chen heard it, what the old man said was basically the same as what he had obtained in the gift pack before. Very good. You did a good job. Here, you have served me for many years. As a reward, you will go in with me later to receive the second-generation super soldier gene. Thank you, Your Majesty. Under Chen's deliberate request, the super soldier genes given by the dream world are all genes with only basic attributes and no special abilities. But the weapons obtained are much stronger than those ordinary first-generation technological weapons. These weapons are implanted weapons, which are integrated into the body through nanotechnology and can be separated from the body during combat. In non-combat conditions, they can also greatly increase the body's strength and avoid situations such as sneak attacks. And because they are implanted weapons, such weapons cannot be plundered unless the opponent completely invades the technological system and the super gene of the owner of this weapon. In fact, Chen really wants to go directly to Xingfeng now, but he knows that he can't do it now. Although now, he has started over again. But his civilization has not changed much in essence. In the previous life, although he started from scratch, his head maid was also Shura. At this stage, the people refreshed by the Shura civilization under the control of the dream world should be no different from those in the previous life. But even so, he met Xingfeng in his previous life 80 years after the game started. Because of those 80 years of experience, Xingfeng became the absolutely loyal and victorious general in his memory. Chapter 4 Implantation of Genes. Development of First-Generation Super Soldier Genes, 50,000 Divine Energy Values. First-Generation Weapons, 80,000 Divine Energy Values. First-Class Technological Battleships, 1 million Divine Energy Values. First-Generation Space Devices, 3 million Divine Energy Values. Second-Generation Super Soldier Genes, 200,000 Divine Energy Values. Second-Generation Weapons, 320,000 Divine Energy Values. Second-Class Technological Battleships, 4 million Divine Energy Values. Second-Generation Space Devices, 12 million Divine Energy Values. Although he was reborn, Chen still felt a headache when he saw the sky-high prices in front of him. Although there are many recharge rewards, there are also many places to spend money. Chen scratched his head with a headache. My king, our civilization now has only one Divine Energy Collection Tower, and it can only mine 100,000 Divine Energy Values every year. I think we should build a few more now. Fate, the old man, made a suggestion to Chen. If you want to build a Divine Energy Collection Tower, you must first build a space device. How long does it take to manufacture a first-generation space device? The space transmission range of a first-generation space device is based on it in a cosmic unit space range. A cosmic unit space is 1 times 1 times 1 light years, and a cosmic unit space can build up to 10 Divine Energy Collection Towers. 1,000 years have passed, and Mo Chen has actually forgotten how long it takes to build a first-generation space device. With our current level of technology, it will take about 2 months. Okay. Mo Chen called up his operation panel, and the current divine energy value was 12,626,330,000. Fate. Mass-produced 2,000 first-generation super soldier genes, 2,000 first-generation weapons, 100 first-generation super battleships, and 10 first-generation space devices. These things will cost about 390 million in total. In this regard, Mo Chen couldn't help but sigh. It took him more than 20 years to save up these belongings in his previous life, but now he can easily produce them at the beginning. Krypton gold is really different, my king. I'm afraid that the research institute and engineering department we have now can't produce so many things at once. Huh? Mo Chen was stunned. He didn't expect this to happen. Then come in batches. Yes, my king. You implant the second-generation super soldier gene into us first. Mo Chen said, my king. You can adjust your genes and weapons before implantation. Set it to what you want before implanting it. Can't it be changed after implantation? Mo Chen remembered that the genes he used before could be partially adjusted by controlling the computer inside his body after implantation. My king, because our genes need to cooperate with nano-weapons. Nano-weapons cannot be adjusted through genes, so they must be adjusted before implantation, Fate explained. Mo Chen nodded to show his understanding. Yes, if you can adjust the nano-weapons inside your body according to what you want after implantation, then this is too abnormal. When others saw that you were holding a big sword in your hand a second ago and wanted to let you go, you suddenly turned into a missile. This would destroy the balance. Mo Chen opened the gene and weapon design panel. Can this weapon be designed to have 2 forms? It depends on the situation. Theoretically, the higher the level of nano-weapons, the more computing power it has. From the current level of gene and weapon technology, it can only support 2 forms at most. And the change between these 2 weapon forms cannot be too big. Okay, in the first form, you design it into a big sword, and in the second form, the big sword is transformed into a sword and shield. Big sword and shield. If these 2 weapons are transformed, it should be okay. But the defense of the sword and shield may not be particularly high. After some thought, Fate came to his conclusion. Okay, then I will design it now. Not long after Fate left, Yura also made her request. What kind of weapon do you want? Mo Chen asked Yura. In fact, based on his past understanding of her, he roughly knew what kind of weapon Yura would want. My king, the weapon I want is composed of 8 small swords and shields. When fighting, these 8 small swords and shields will float beside me. They will defend and attack according to my command. There will be an energy crystal on the surface of the sword and shield, through which lasers can be released as long-range attacks. Good idea. Mo Chen nodded. My king, I have a question. What's the question? Can I really control this weapon? Don't worry. After the super soldier gene is implanted, your brain will become a computer with very high computing power. As long as you can adapt to it smoothly and give full play to this computing power, not to mention 8 swords and shields, you can easily control 8,000 swords and shields. Mo Chen explained Yura's doubts. Thank you for your explanation, my king. Not long after, Fate came back. My king, your genes have been prepared. Now please enter the experimental cabin and we will implant your genes. No problem. Mo Chen followed Fate into a laboratory. The experimental cabin was in the center of the laboratory. On the left side of the experimental cabin, there was a cylindrical glass container. This container is very small and can be held in one hand. In the container flows a blue liquid. My king, this contains the nano solution needed for nano weapons. We will implant the nano solution after the super soldier gene is implanted. Although it is very little, they can become more with the dark matter energy in your body. That small capsule is the super soldier gene. Mo Chen pointed to a capsule that was carefully protected on a laboratory table on the left side of the laboratory and said, "You are right," Fate said with a bend. "Then let's get started." Mo Chen entered the experimental cabin with ease, which surprised Fate a little. But Fate quickly took back this surprise. After he placed the capsule into the experimental cabin, he turned on the switch of the experimental cabin. Soon Mo Chen felt the hypnotic gas in the experimental cabin. This is very normal. It is very painful when the super gene is implanted. If hypnosis is not performed, it will be very painful. But Chen refused. He turned off the release of hypnotic gas in the experimental cabin. This, Your Majesty, implanting a super gene is very painful. If you don't hypnotize me, I'm afraid it will be unbearable. Fate saw Chen turn off the hypnotic gas and reminded him hurriedly. But implanting in a conscious state will also make it faster to master the super gene, right? Chen asked back. In his previous life, he used hypnotic gas when he first implanted a super gene. This resulted in him spending a full 3 years to master a generation of super soldier genes. After the first implantation, the replacement of super genes will not cause pain. So Chen actually didn't know how painful it was to implant a super gene. But Chen believed that he had experienced countless wars and countless pains in his previous life. He felt that he should be able to bear this pain now. Moreover, Xingfeng chose not to hypnotize him when he implanted the gene, and he didn't say a word during the implantation process. Chen believed that he would not be much worse than Xingfeng. Okay, Fate was helpless, but after all, the person lying in the cabin was his king, the supreme leader of the Shura Civilization. Fate pressed the implantation button. Chen never dreamed that it would be so painful. Xingfeng, you have indeed been injured, but the injuries you have suffered were basically borne by me first. Chapter 5 Simulated Combat. It only takes a moment to implant the genes of a super soldier, but it takes about a week for the body to completely integrate these genes. During this week, the implant recipients need to stay in the experimental chamber, because the integration of the body and genes requires a lot of energy. Staying in the experimental chamber can better replenish the energy needed by the body through energy liquid. Because there was no hypnotic gas, it only took Chen about 3 days to completely integrate these genes with his body genes. My king, the next step is to implant weapons into your body. Come on. Chen nodded in agreement. Implanting weapons will not be accompanied by pain, so Fate did not release hypnotic gas. To be honest, when Fate saw Chen screaming in pain, he was panicked. Even if it was Chen who refused to release hypnotic gas, history shows that many kings would not care about these. Fortunately, this king is still relatively tolerant. It is detected that there is a foreign weapon loading. Do you want to connect? As soon as the nano-weapon solution entered Chen's body, the genetic computing system in Chen's body began to prompt access. This weapon is a second-class technological weapon, and its compatibility with the body is 92%. The probability of successful connection is 100%. During the entire loading process, the genetic computing system has been reporting data. This is why it is said that every super soldier in divine body is actually a supercomputer. Access is complete. This weapon is a dual-form combat system. It is estimated that 0.3% of the energy required to summon the body is required, and the combat time is about 4 hours. This weapon has a powerful laser design device, and the estimated emission energy is 3%. This weapon has a 2000 x 2000 x 2000 second level reconnaissance system, and it is estimated that the consumption is about 5% of the energy in 1 hour. This weapon carries. Please name the weapon so that the system can analyze the instructions. Wangling. The weapon has been named Wangling successfully. Chen walked out of the experimental cabin. Take me to the combat experimental area. Yes, Shura Academy of Sciences has a huge underground combat experimental area of 400 x 300 x 200. This can help super gene warriors become proficient in their weapons. Wangling. Weapon released successfully. 99.6% of the remaining energy in the body. A silver giant sword appeared in Chen's hand, and there were fine blue and red stripes on the surface of the sword. There were 4 simulated combat robots up to 3 meters high in the combat experiment area. Compared with real combat robots, they removed certain attack capabilities, but strengthened their defense capabilities. However, there was actually a recording instrument in the combat area. Although the energy lethality released by the simulated combat robots was less than that of real combat robots, their damage power was the same on the recording instrument. When the damage value loaded on the recording instrument has reached the maximum value that the super soldier can bear, Then this round of combat training is over. Although Chen has rich combat experience, he still chose to train with only one simulated combat robot at the moment. The simulated combat robot is not actually a completely humanoid combat machine. Although it has a head and 2 hands, its lower body is composed of 4 mechanical legs. Chen began to attack its target, but the combat robot has a lot of long-range offensive capabilities. At the moment when Chen rushed forward, 16 simulated small missiles were fired at Chen. Chen first rolled over, then dodged to the side, successfully avoiding all the missiles. However, he had just started again and rushed a few meters. Another long laser shot at him. Chen immediately transformed his weapon into a sword and shield, and slowly moved forward with the shield to carry the laser. Seeing that the laser damage was ineffective, the robot took the initiative to choose close combat. A chain sword appeared in one hand and a heavy hammer in the other. The robot tried to tie up Chen with the chain sword and then attack with the heavy hammer. Chen also immediately discovered its intention. He bent down and transformed the sword and shield into a heavy sword again, directly cutting off the chain sword. Then, through the laser launcher on the tip of the heavy sword, Chen directly smashed the robot's heavy hammer. Then Chen dived forward, dragging the heavy sword on the ground. When Chen approached the robot, he pulled the heavy sword from the ground and cut it in half from bottom to top. Just like the robot, the hostile target has been eliminated, and the energy remaining is 91%. This is the voice of the genetic computing system. Beep. Combat training is over. The recording instrument in the combat experiment area made a sound. The remains of the simulated combat robot were quickly dragged away by the working robots in the experimental area. You are worthy of being the king. You have just become a super soldier and you are already so skilled in combat. When Chen walked out of the combat experimental area, Fate immediately came up to flatter him. Okay, how is your majesty? The headmaid also did not use hypnotic gas. She was a little slower than new infusion and just walked out of the experimental cabin. Oh, is that so? As expected, Chen soon saw Yuer's figure. Meeting my king. Go and try your weapon. Chen pointed to the simulated combat laboratory. As you command. At this time, a new simulated combat robot was lifted up in the combat laboratory. The number of simulated combat robots returned to 4. Yuer glanced at the robots and chose to challenge 4 directly. 8-sided jade ling, 8 swords and shields about half a meter long appeared behind Yuer. The 4 robots simultaneously chose to attack Yuer with lasers, but Yuer combined the 8 swords and shields and placed them in front of her. The lasers of the 4 robots combined could not break through the defense of the swords and shields. Instead, Yuer used the lasers released by the crystals on the 8 swords and shields to suppress the lasers of the 4 robots. Seeing this, the robots stopped releasing their lasers. Just when they stopped releasing their lasers, Yuer rushed towards one of them very quickly. The 8 swords and shields were in a row, and all of them passed through the energy core in the chest of the robot. Boom. Before the robot exploded, Yuer had already jumped high, using the swords and shields to jump left and right to dodge the missiles. Soon Yuer found another opportunity to attack. She used 4 swords and shields to block behind her. While taking the attacks of 2 of the robots, she used the other 4 swords and shields to attack another one. When there were only 2 robots left, Yuer stopped dodging. The 4 swords and shields controlled by each hand resisted the attacks launched by the 2 robots from 2 directions. When she approached the 2 robots, she jumped directly into the air, and did a backflip in the air, avoiding all the attacks of the robots. When she returned to the ground, the 2 robots had been completely destroyed by her sword and shield. Beep. Combat training is over. Yuer walked to Chen's side. How do you feel? Very good. The genetic computing system allows me to easily control these 8 swords and shields, and the super soldier's genes also make my body very strong. Very good. Chen nodded. In his previous life, Yuer was one of the people he trusted the most, and she taught him how to fight. Unfortunately, she was killed when she was covering him from an assassination in her previous life, so it was not surprising that the other party showed a stronger fighting ability than himself. How is the production task I assigned before being completed now? My king, we can only produce 100 first-generation super soldier genes, 5 first-class technological warships and 100 first-class technological weapons at the same time. The production of the first-generation super soldier genes takes 1 month, and the same is true for first-class technological weapons, and a first-class technological warship takes 3 months. I need a higher level of production scale. My king, I have already given the order, but it takes time. Yes, Chen nodded. Then we will leave. This, my king, can we ask you to keep the head made? We may need more combat data. Chen immediately agreed to Fate's request. This game is very realistic. Although the data given by the dream world, the research progress and the like are all very rigid with specific time, but this is based on the premise that the owner of the civilization basically agrees to the requirements of the scientific researchers under his command. If the owner of the civilization always sings the opposite tune with the scientific research members under his command, then the research progress will decline. Only if all are agreed, the research speed can be the same as the data given by the dream world. Of course, those scientific researchers will not make any particularly excessive demands. After returning to his palace, Chen immediately entered the dream realm. There are many functions in the dream realm, far more than the gift packages and system item storage mentioned above. Currently, the game forum, unlocked by becoming a second-class civilization, the chat system, unlocked by becoming a first-generation super soldier, and the God Diamond Mall, unlocked by spending 1 million divine energy points, are open to Chen. As for the game forum, as far as I remember, there should be no other players who have reached the second-class civilization. The chat system should have been unlocked by most players, and the God Diamond Mall may only be unlocked by a few people. Chen clicked on the chat system first, plus 9,999,999,999. It's still a familiar taste. Chen clicked on the channel of the Alua Great Star region where he was, plus 14,657 Lin Nian, the Lord of Luo Civilization. So everyone on Blue Star has come here. Wang Xiu, the Lord of Danshui Civilization. Dad and Mom, where are you? William Kolick, the Lord of Fide Civilization. Oh my god, I thought I was the only one who traveled through time, but I didn't expect that everyone on Blue Star would come here. Tianfeng, the Lord of Huoyan Civilization. VIP 3, by the way, did you guys recharge before? Tom Robertson, the Lord of Miniu Civilization. Ha 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 ha. Just wait to be defeated by me. I will definitely be the strongest. Tianfeng, the Lord of Huoyan Civilization. VIP 3, it turns out that I have an exclusive number. It seems that none of you have recharged. Picking nose, Tianfeng, this person was quite strong at the beginning of the main storyline in his previous life. I heard that he was a good person, but he was framed by the invaders of Blue Star, and the main force of the entire civilization was destroyed. In the end, he was killed by others on his home planet. But overall, he is still a person worth making friends with. Chen planned to say a few words on the chat system. Chapter 6. The title of the super rich Lord of Shura Civilization. Chen. VIP 10, ladies and gentlemen, this world is much more complicated than you think. I hope that all the players in our Alua Great Star domain can cooperate with each other, develop together, and reduce unnecessary disputes. Chen's words actually make sense. After the players have developed for 100 years, the star domain invasion will occur. In the previous life, it was because many star domains had civil wars at that time. As a result, they suffered heavy losses in the star domain attack launched by local NPCs, and even many player forces in the star domain were wiped out. The main reason for the outbreak of the civil war was the quarrel in the chat system. After all, in this world, all players have become the masters of civilization. People who usually come into contact with them in their own civilization are respectful to them. If something unhappy happens in the chat channel, it is very likely that a war will be directly launched. The Lord of Linxiang Civilization, Wei Yun, VIP 1, damn, there's a big guy. The Lord of Liu Civilization, Whit Brewster, is there really anyone who would recharge money in the situation like before? The Lord of Bingjing Civilization, Hu Yunyun, I pay homage to the big guy. Chen frowned. Many people here returned to their carefree lives on Blue Star after finding their families through the chat channel. And there are even more people who are very satisfied with their current lives. They don't have a sense of crisis. What he said didn't get their attention. Their main focus was only on the VIP label behind his name. Forget it. The Yaoyuo Great Star region in the previous life was relatively peaceful. But there was a small-scale war for the leader of the star region. The problem of true Qi should not be a big deal. Since I am reborn, I will be the leader this time, even if that small-scale war will not break out. Of course, Chen did not participate in the war in the previous life. In the previous life, he had no VIP and had been hiding and developing. Chen chose to add Tianfeng as his friend first. The other party was one of the strong contenders for the leader of the Aluot star field in the previous life. The Lord of Shura Civilization, Chen requests to add you as a friend. Tianfeng, who was wandering around these civilizations and playing the chat system, was stunned after seeing this message, but still chose to agree. Boss, what's the matter? VIP level 4 and above. The messages posted on the chat system will be pinned to the top. So Tianfeng naturally saw the message sent by Chen. I hope you can become my ally. Chen's words were very decisive. What? Yes, this is what Tianfeng felt directly after seeing this sentence. Boss, although I don't know what the higher level VIP gift packages are like, I can roughly infer that you must be a second level civilization now. You are right. Chen was not surprised that Tianfeng could infer this. After all, the other party also received 3 VIP gift packages, and VIP gift packages still have a certain regularity. In that case, why did you ask me to form an alliance? Compared to you, I should be nothing. No, you should have seen it. The most important point of this game is resources. If you have resources, you have everything. In the early stage, we may indeed gain an advantage by charging money. If we don't work hard to develop, we will not be able to compare with those civilizations that work hard to develop in the later stage. Chen explained. In that case, you should not need an alliance. Your strength in the early stage is far higher than ours. You can completely occupy the resources of an entire star field. In front of the entire universe, a star field is nothing. If our entire star field becomes stronger, we can obtain resources from other star fields. Development is important. But if we can plunder more powerful civilizations, then our development will be faster. But that is impossible to do by relying on my civilization alone. I understand, you need allies, or you need our entire star field to back you up. Then you act as a spearhead, and we plunder other civilizations to allow you to develop quickly. When you develop to a certain level, you can drive the development of our civilization. Tianfeng understood what Chen meant. One thing is wrong. We are not going to plunder other civilizations, but to defeat those civilizations that try to plunder other civilizations. In this process, we can retain a certain number of resource stars in each star field and establish a powerful and well-known force of our own. In Chen's plan, he needs to have a powerful force that can speak among the players. Through such a force, he can obtain a large enough territory in the universe. What Yunfeng didn't know was that in Chen's mind, the real opponents have never been those player forces, but those NPCs who are far more powerful than the players. I don't really care about your ideas. What benefits can I get? This is the most important thing. When Tianfeng first arrived in this world and realized that he was a rare VIP, he had many ideas and plans. However, the appearance of Chen made all his ideas come to nothing. Resources, fame, and status in the universe, they are all empty promises, aren't they? Hasn't your alliance with me really played a role yet? Interesting. Tianfeng lowered his head and smiled. I agree. I hope our cooperation can be pleasant. I believe it will be pleasant. Chen exited the chat system, although his vision is not particularly long-term. After all, he has far less information than I do. I hope my choice is not wrong. Of course, let's put these aside for now. Now is the most exciting part. Chen turned his eyes to the Divine Diamond Mall. I heard about the many good things here in my previous life, but I never really saw it. Chen clicked in. 10,000 divine energy points, 1 divine diamond, 10,000 people, 1 divine diamond. Resource star search device, only 1. 5 divine diamonds. Interstellar communication device, maximum distance, 1,000 light-years. 30 divine diamonds. Designated space-time transmission device, 1 person, any region, can only be exchanged once a month. 10,000 divine diamonds. Super combat power enhancement card, unconditionally possessing a strength higher than 1 level of oneself for 1 day, applicable to up to 3 generations of divine bodies. 50,000 divine diamonds. Divine energy collection device acceleration card, double the rate of divine energy collection for 10 days. 500 divine diamonds. Battleship construction speed doubling card, 1 month. 300 divine diamonds. Void gold, metal born from the void, top level weapon strengthening material. 10 million divine diamonds. Accelerated march card, double speed, 10 days. 100 divine diamonds. Resurrection engine, unconditional resurrection once on the spot. Resurrection time can be selected from 1 second to 1 month. 50 million divine diamonds. It's not without reason that those who charged money in the previous life were able to develop so fast. After looking at the God Diamond Mall, Chen couldn't help but sigh. Although I have a lot of God diamonds, I'd better wait until I really need many things here before buying them. At present, my civilization needs to quickly strengthen its own strength, so I'd better buy 10 battleship construction acceleration cards, 10 gene research acceleration cards, and 10 weapon manufacturing acceleration cards. As for the resurrection engine, it shouldn't be needed for the time being, but after all, the demon from the demon civilization will come in 3 weeks. Just in case, I'd better buy one. It's absolutely stupid to use God diamonds to buy someone worth it, so forget it. At present, I haven't developed resource stars, and there is no need to have too many people. Let's just leave it at that. Dear user, you have spent a total of 59,000 God diamonds in the God Diamond Mall, and the cumulative consumption has exceeded 10 million, and you have obtained the title Godly Rich. Title? I don't think I have heard of this thing in my previous life, so I won't care about it for now. Chen looked at the 30 cards and a golden blue square crystal in his hand. This thing should be the resurrection engine. I haven't seen the production process, and this product is indeed not very impressive. There are many very advanced products in this universe, but they don't look particularly advanced. But if you see their production process, you will never underestimate those products that don't look particularly impressive. Chen chose to use it, and the golden blue crystal quickly turned into a pool of liquid and merged into Chen's body. The resurrection engine has been loaded. Because the level of the resurrection engine was too high, the gene engine inside Chen's body didn't even realize it, and there was no prompt. Chen then started using those acceleration cards again, and soon he saw that the construction speed indicated on the system interface had doubled. If this is the case, my resource star development plan can be advanced. Chen opened the chat system again. However, a message directly caught his eye. Congratulations to player Chen for winning the title, Godly Rich. The game has opened the secondary recharge function, and the upper limit of this recharge is 10,000 yuan. This is a top notification on the chat channel of all players. Chen was stunned by this scene. This was something that had never happened in his previous life. What exactly is a title? No one in my previous life has ever triggered this thing. Ding. A message was sent directly to Chen. The message was from Tianfei. Big brother is awesome, let's not talk about anything else. I'm going to recharge. In this situation, everyone with 10,000 yuan will rush in. If this is the case, it is very likely that everyone will be VIP 5. The highest in my previous life was only VIP 6. It's a headache. My plan is completely disrupted. Chen rubbed his temple. Chen exited the private chat channel and looked at the general world chat channel again. Sure enough, everyone has become VIP 5. The title system should not be unique to now. It should have existed in the previous life, but it was extremely difficult to trigger. Just like the highest in the previous life knew about VIP 6, he couldn't spend 10 million blood diamonds at all. Let me explain it again. I triggered the title, but I didn't get the reward. But all players got a chance to recharge. If this is the case, does it mean the dream world does not want to cultivate the strongest player? What it actually wants to do is to make us all stronger. What is its purpose? Chapter 7 Reorganizing the Army. Boss, I have now reached the second-class civilization, Tianfeng said to Mo Chen in the private chat channel. Congratulations. This was Mo Chen's reply. By the way, boss, how did you get that title? I just spent more than 10 million divine diamonds in the divine diamond mall. Oh my god. That's it. Boss, you must be a super rich man in the real world. Tianfeng looked at Mo Chen's reply in a daze. It's just so-so. Mo Chen's answer was rather cold. In fact, Mo Chen himself was a little entangled now. The original main reason for choosing to cooperate with Tian Mufeng was actually because of Tianfeng's VIP status. But now because he has created a title, VIP has become popular, and Tianfeng is no longer special. Maybe in the previous life, Tianfeng did become a hegemon in the end, but his VIP status was one of the main reasons. Now Tianfeng has lost his greatest advantage, and now he is just an ordinary person. This is just like Mo Chen did not go to Xingfeng immediately at that time. Only with experience can he have the results he saw in his previous life. Tianfeng himself is also an extremely smart person. He also realized that Mo Chen's attitude has become cold. Boss, I guess you didn't expect the impact of this title system. Mo Chen was stunned for a moment. Yes, I didn't expect such a result. I have an idea. Tianfeng also knew that his advantage had disappeared, and Mo Chen was now a thigh that he had to cling to. Tell me, when there was no VIP, many players probably didn't realize the importance of VIP, but now they can realize that the gap between different VIPs is quite large. You are right. Mo Chen had actually guessed Tianfeng's thoughts. But your identity of VIP-10 is now known to all players, which means that your strength has now spread among all players. So why don't we take advantage of this opportunity to directly skip those development processes, directly advertise on the World Channel, and directly build our conceived powerful alliance? Mo Chen looked at Tianfeng's words and sighed. Tianfeng was still limited by the information he knew at present. The most important thing about a truly strong alliance is actually restraint. In the early stages of the game, all players, including him, did not have the ability to directly rule across star domains. The dream world does not have functions like alliances and guilds. In other words, this alliance does not have the slightest binding and management. With the continuous development of such an alliance, even if he becomes stronger in the future, this alliance is just a pile of loose sand. The power that Mo Chen wants to establish is one that he has absolute dominance. The members he needs are also members who are truly convinced by the strength he has demonstrated. Historical experience tells us that as long as anyone has military power, he has ambitions. Mo Chen does not expect him to completely eliminate these ambitions, but what he needs to do is to restrict the other party's ambitions, like Zhuge Liang captured Meng Huo 7 times. I understand what you mean, but such an alliance cannot be solid. I know. Tianfeng's words did surprise Mo Chen a little. In his experience, when the gap between two people is narrowed, the ambition of the weaker party will usually continue to grow. But when Tianfeng was VIP 3, although he called him a big boss, he actually did not have much respect. But now that he has recharged 10,000 yuan and become VIP 5, he has more respect. He did not feel angry because of his rebuttal to his ideas. This alliance itself is a false alliance. You said before that what you need is fame and voice. This alliance can satisfy you in this regard, and it can also become one of the points for us to obtain members of our real power. After adding this sentence, Tianfeng's suggestion has many merits. This reminds Mo Chen of a sentence. People with talent and money may not be successful, but people who can succeed must have talent. However, what Tianfeng gave was just a rough and general framework, and there are still many people who can give such a framework. Tianfeng also understands this, so in the next 2 hours, Tianfeng gave Mo Chen a very detailed plan. Why not tell you? If I can think of it, can I still be here? Blackface, let me think while writing. Mo Chen exited the chat channel. He has already posted the alliance information in the World Channel and forum, and Tianfeng will be responsible for the specific matters. In Mo Chen's subsequent plan, he plans to go to the troops of the Shura Civilization, The combat effectiveness of a civilization is definitely not only reflected in its civilization level. In the high-level civilizations of the universe, the quality of the army occupies a very large part of the strength of a civilization. In Mo Chen's image, the quality of the armies of all the newly born civilizations is very average. Although it is said that the army will not be very chaotic and the quality will be extremely poor, but it will definitely not be very good. This phenomenon is not only reflected in the army but also in the masses of various civilizations. In the early stages, ordinary citizens of civilizations will not have an absolute respect for their monarchs, nor will they have a sense of honor to share life and death with their civilizations. Mo Chen arrived at the army under the protection of his guard team. All player civilizations have only 20 million troops and 5 billion ordinary residents in the initial stage. As long as there is no major disaster, the number of residents will increase steadily. If the army expands in large quantities at one time, the quality of the army will decline rapidly. The phenomenon shown is that it is very chaotic during combat, and it is like a locust passing through after combat. Just like jackals on the grassland, they bully the weak and fear the strong. If you want to improve the quality of the army, you need the Lord of Civilization to work hard to bring a sense of honor to the soldiers, and constantly emphasize and train their discipline. There are a total of 9 large military areas for military training and residence in the Shura Civilization. The first place Mo Chen went to was the #1 military district, which was closest to his royal city. In his previous life, Mo Chen did not pay attention to the problem of military quality and ill. I can't talk about it anymore, it will spoil the story. Meet my king. When he arrived at the gate of the military district, Mo Chen saw about a company of soldiers standing in 3 rows, led by their company commander, welcoming his arrival. But Mo Chen was not satisfied with this. This company was obviously responsible for guarding the gate of the military district, but in order to welcome his arrival, these soldiers gave up their respective posts and even gave up the 4 observation platforms of this gate. If someone came here disguised as him, the other party could easily kill all the soldiers of this company and quickly occupy this gate. Not only that, these soldiers seemed to be neat, but their bodies did not give off a sense of strength at all, which always made him feel loose. Simply put, they had no energy. However, Mo Chen did not say much. These things were not something he could solve by just a few words in this company under such circumstances. Even if he changed this company, it would be meaningless. The outcome of a war could not be changed by relying on a company. What he needed to do was to find the highest person in charge of this military region and rectify all the troops. Mo Chen nodded and entered the military region under the eyes of the soldiers of this company. The same situation happened in many places in this military region. Many troops, all members were ready to welcome him, and gave up all the positions they should be responsible for and the training they should do. Mo Chen came to a building in the center of this military region. At the door of this building, one senior officer after another was waiting for him there, including the highest person in charge of this military region, Luo Wen, one of the 9 marshals of Shura Civilization. Meet our king. Get up. Mo Chen entered the building surrounded by a group of officers and came to the reception room. If the king has any orders, he can issue them through the civilization computer. How can I trouble you? Mo Chen glanced at him and didn't say anything, but asked his guards to take some documents from Luo Wen's office to check. Seeing that Mo Chen didn't say a word, he just silently flipped through his documents. Although Luo Wen hadn't done anything wrong, he was still a little panicked, but he didn't dare to ask Mo Chen directly what he wanted to do. What do you think of our army? After looking for a long time, Mo Chen suddenly said, I think our army is very good. I am confident that we can defeat all enemies with our army. Luo Wen straightened his back. Oh? Mo Chen laughed. Who to defeat? Who can we defeat? Those underground troops still have the belief to resist me. What does our army have? In addition to having powerful armaments, what is better than those underground troops? The underground army is an army that every player civilization will have in the early stage of the game, which is hidden inside the player civilization and wants to overthrow the rule of the players. Of course, the strength of the underground army is very weak. In the past life, except for those stupid players and those under 10 years old, they can deal with it. But there are exceptions. In the past life, There was a player of the 7th level civilization who invaded the Blue Star side and never completely cleaned up the underground army in his civilization. In the end, he was even killed by the underground army of his own civilization. This Luo Wen was stunned by Mo Chen's question. I ask you, why did those soldiers come to welcome me? Mo Chen continued to ask. That's because they all truly respect you. Luo Wen said he would answer this question, and he answered very quickly. Respect me? You asked them to do that, didn't you? Zhao, the name of the super-intelligent computer of Shura Civilization, gave me the data. These were arranged after you knew I was coming here. They are soldiers, military personnel. You asked them to give up their posts and their duties to welcome me? Let me ask you, what are the duties of these soldiers? These soldiers, to protect your safety and the safety of Shura Civilization. Okay, that's right. Then I ask you, all the soldiers are welcoming me. What if I am attacked? Do I rely entirely on the guards around me? If they give up their posts to welcome me, what if this military district is attacked? If this military district falls, this military district is right next to the royal city. Shura Civilization will also be destroyed. Is this how you let the soldiers perform their duties? Mo Chen stood up, almost pointing his finger at Luo Wen, and scolded him. You don't have to be the marshal anymore. After scolding, Mo Chen sat back in his seat. Before Luo Wen could continue to speak, the guards beside Mo Chen had already removed Luo Wen's military cap and military badge. Lambert. Mo Chen called out a person's name. Lambert was the second leader of this military region, with the rank of general. I'm here. A soldier who looked to be in his 50s came out. Do you understand what to do? I understand. Lambert did not kneel down to the king, but instead gave a formal military salute. Then why don't you do it? Yes. Seeing Lambert leave the reception room very solemnly, Mo Chen knew that he had solved half of the problems in this military region. Then Mo Chen looked at Luo Wen, who was being escorted aside by the guards. Take him back to the royal city. 9 military regions, 9 marshals, and then add a propaganda minister, which will be exactly 10 people. Then give them a basketball court. When I have nothing to do, I can also go and see the excitement. Mo Chen said to his guards. The maids and guards of the players inside the palace are given to the players by the dream world for free. They are absolutely loyal to them. It's just that one less person is used, and although we will definitely expand later, their overall loyalty will definitely decline. But in the early stages, it is still enough. Once the reorganization is completed, the Resource Star plan should be able to start. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 Angels and Demons. Mo Chen spent nearly 3 weeks to visit all 9 military regions of Shura Civilization. It takes long-term efforts to improve the overall quality of the army. Mo Chen replaced all the leaders of the 9 military regions, which was the first step in his plan to rectify the army. The second step needs to wait until the first step has real results. Now Mo Chen has another very important thing to do. The messenger of the demon civilization is about to arrive. He needs to receive this messenger and conclude a real contract with the demon civilization. Ding! The messenger of the demon civilization, Nagusa, has arrived. The prompt sound of the dream world appeared in Mo Chen's mind. Arrived? Mo Chen looked at the sky, without any abnormal movement. Nagusa. This seems to be a female demon. In the original animation plot, the demon civilization only has Morgana as a woman, but in this dream world, the demons of the demon civilization also need to reproduce. Female demons have their own meaning of existence. Of course, what has not changed is that the demon civilization, whether male or female demons, love their queen Morgana equally. Mo Chen waited for a long time but Nagusa didn't show up, as if she hadn't arrived at Shura Civilization. But the dream world wouldn't lie. Mo Chen frowned and returned to his throne. This demon, what on earth does she want to do? In a city in the north of Shura Civilization. I've been on that barren planet for 1,000 years, I'm going to have some fun this time. Nagusa turned into a Shura Civilization woman. This stuff is good, Much better than the food on Tuta. Nagusa licked an ice cream. It's just that this civilization is too backward, and it actually has to use the most primitive monetary policy. Nagusa's proud figure, slender white legs, and the unique charm of demons made both men and women on the street look at her sideways. Where should we go to play later? Nagusa took out a map and started to check. Demons are not like angels. Angels have very powerful computing and analysis capabilities in their body engines, but demons do not have such capabilities. Demons' main combat power comes from biological transformation. Hey, amusement park? From the name, it should be a very fun place. Let's go there and take a look. Nagusa walked towards the amusement park happily. While Nagusa was happily playing in the Shura Civilization, Chen was having a headache because he didn't know what the messenger of the demon civilization wanted to do. Forget it, I don't care about it for now. I can't control a first-generation divine body even if I want to. The most important thing now is to carry out the resource star plan. Chen went to the largest military factory of the Shura Civilization, where he was ordered to produce 5 first-level space battleships. My king, these 5 battleships will be completed the day after tomorrow at the latest, the person in charge of the military factory said to Chen. The day after tomorrow? What about the soldiers needed for these battleships? All have been trained, a total of 5,000 soldiers, including 100 first-generation super soldiers and 5 second-generation super soldiers. We don't need so many soldiers. What we need now is not battleships. The main use of these ships is transportation. Chen commanded. I can give you another half a month. I hope you can install the corresponding mining facilities on these space battleships. The person in charge of the arsenal was a little embarrassed. Any questions? My king, you have issued a task before, asking us to complete the manufacture of 25 space battleships within 5 months, but if we install mining equipment now, this task will definitely not be completed. The words of the person in charge reminded Chen of the order he had issued before, because 1 year after the game is opened, the task of clearing the demon nest will be opened. The demon nests of the void demon will be refreshed around all civilizations. If the civilization does not have sufficient military strength, it is very likely to be destroyed by the void demon. However, if the army is strong enough to fight back against the demon nest, the more demon nests are destroyed, the more rewards will be obtained. In his previous life, Chen was almost destroyed in this activity, but now he can carry out the resource star plan while preparing for the activity of clearing the demon nest. You can send it to a factory that specializes in manufacturing mining equipment. Just treat it as an order from the royal family. Yes, sir. The person in charge did as Chen instructed. 5 space battleships are enough for the initial resource star mining plan, but unfortunately the manufacturing of space devices is still too slow, and the Divine Diamond Mall does not have an acceleration card for this thing. Chen sighed. Ding. Your friend Tianfang sent you a message. Boss, I already have a list of 5,000 people. Just 5,000 people want to join? No, I don't know how many people there are, but it will definitely not be less than 100,000. These 5,000 people are all selected by me. Okay, I believe you can handle these things. Chen exited the private chat channel. After that, he planned to go to the research institute, and he was going to pick up Yuri from Fate. Now that Xingfeng is not here, Yuri has become the most powerful one among all the people he trusts absolutely. Chen needs Yuri to help him manage this resource star operation. In a huge castle, there is a very modern room. In the center of the room, a woman whose beauty is enough to amaze the entire universe stretched out on the bed. Nagusa, Nagusa. Morgana called out twice, and when she found no one answered, she was slightly stunned. Oh yes. She seems to have gone to the Shura Civilization. Morgana rubbed her temples and sat up from the bed. After changing into her own clothes and applying a face full of smoky makeup, Morgana walked out of her room. Ado, what's the situation with those bitches now? Queen, the Angel Civilization has found the outer edge of the Azure Galaxy, and they may not stay here for long. The tall demon knelt on one knee in front of Morgana. Damn, how can those bitches be so fast? Morgana put her hands on her hips, a little unbelievable. When Nagusa left, The angel civilization found her trace, Cho replied to Morgana. How could that girl be so careless? Oh, my head hurts. Queen, I told you that Nagusa has no experience, so I should go. Okay, that girl has been here for 1,000 years and has long been impatient. Even if you don't let her go this time, she will still find a way to slip away next time. Morgana waved her hand. Then what should we do now? Stay here first, prepare an ambush, and prepare a surprise for my fellow angels. But if Keisha uses the Nebula-class computer to scan here, we will probably be discovered soon. Cho expressed his concerns. Keisha? That bitch. She will rely on her weapons and technology. When it comes to fighting skills, she and I can't compare at all, Morgana habitually said stubbornly. But she won't fight us in close combat. Okay, let me think about it. Morgana frowned and began to ponder. Wait, let me see what day it is today. Morgana suddenly remembered something. Ah, don't panic, that bitch has her period these 2 days. Morgana was delighted. Give the order, prepare the space wormhole while preparing for battle. We are always chased by the angels, and we have to fight back occasionally, but don't delay. My period will come in 4 or 5 days. Morgana ordered Cho. Yes, Queen. Cho went to give the order. Where should we prepare to escape this time? Morgana opened the universe map. The Super God Academy seems to have moved to the Chiwu star system. Speaking of which, I was also a teacher at the Super God Academy, so this time we should prepare to go to the Chiwu star system. Chiwu star system, Super God universe, the star system where the blue star is located. Queen, we have scanned Morgana's location. Yu Yen, as the right-wing angel of Queen Keisha of the Angel Civilization, is also responsible for the scientific research of the Angel Civilization. I don't know what the right-wing angel before Zyxon was named, so I just made one up. Thank you for your hard work. Keisha sat on the throne and nodded to Yu Yen. For the queen, Keisha's beauty was no less than Morgana's, and she also had a sense of nobility and inviolability. Yen, a tall female angel warrior, came out. She was Queen Keisha's left-wing guard, a 7,000-year-old angel warrior who had experienced countless battles. Queen, Morgana is not easy to deal with. I will fight her personally. This time, you need to lead the high-level angels to catch all the demons in one fell swoop, Keisha said. The demons will definitely be destroyed. Yan's voice was very loud. The demon civilization has a warrior named Cho. His fighting power is still quite terrifying. You need to pay attention, Keisha instructed Yen. I understand. Very good. Keisha stood up and walked down the high steps step by step. Angels, prepare for battle, and wipe out all the demons. Spread justice and order to every corner of the universe. For the Queen. In the first year of the Dream Calendar, a war broke out between the Angel Civilization and the Demon Civilization in the Azure Galaxy. In the end, the Angel Civilization won, and the Demon Queen Morgana led a large number of demon genes to flee to the Chiwu star system. This war broke out in the 672nd year of the Dream Calendar in the previous life. But now, because of Chen, this war has been brought forward by 671 years. But whether it is Chen, the source of the incident, or Nagusa, the direct source of the outbreak of the war, they still know nothing about this war. Chen is still worried about the development of his own civilization, and Nagusa. Oh yeah, I won again. Nagusa sat in front of a game console, and there were 2 big victories written on the screen of the game console. Next to her were several boys with pale faces. Boys, my gaming dream is broken. Chapter 9. The Destruction of the Underground Army. Boom. In the war room, Yura was fighting with Chen's 4 personal maids. These 4 maids have been implanted with the first generation of super soldier genes and first generation weapons. The weapons of the 4 of them are different, namely giant shield, Fang Tianhuaji, heavy artillery, and sniper rifle. In Yura's mind, all of Chen's maids will form a team of 4. And when Chen is in danger, these teams will be organized to stop the enemy, and can also go out to fight at any time according to Chen's orders. Boom. Yura's Bafang Yuling blocked hundreds of missiles. The huge impact made Yura a little difficult to support. Under the cover of artillery fire, the maid holding the Fang Tianhuaji rushed forward quickly, trying to give Yuri sudden kill. Yura used the genetic computer to find the figure of the maid in the artillery fire. She turned sideways and dodged at the moment when the Fang Tianhuaji came. But at the same time, Yura's figure also appeared from the Bafang Yuling, giving the sniper in the distance a chance. Dang, a sword and shield successfully blocked the shot. Although it was very thrilling just now, Yura also knew the position of the opponent's sniper. Because of this, the two swords and shields immediately rushed in that direction. Unfortunately, a huge shield blocked their advance, since Yura still needed to use two swords and shields to stop the attack of the maid holding the Fang Tianhuaji. In other words, there were only 4 swords and shields left to prevent the heavy gunner. The heavy gunner immediately increased his firepower, but unfortunately, Yura immediately released the energy relationship of the sword and shield and destroyed all the shells first. Pa pa pa. Mo Chen's applause interrupted the battle. Very good. Mo Chen walked into the war room. Greetings, my king. The 5 maids immediately retracted their weapons and saluted Mo Chen. You cooperated very well. If it weren't for the fact that Yura's genetic computer was more advanced than yours, she might have been defeated. Mo Chen encouraged the 4 maids. You have worked hard too, my king. This is my duty. Mo Chen took Yura out of the war room. I have something for you to do. My king, I will swear to complete your order at the cost of my life. After hearing what Mo Chen said, Yura immediately half knelt on the ground. No need to do that. Mo Chen pulled Yura up. Thank you, my king. Starting tomorrow, you will take 20 guards and maids to the military factory. You are the person I trust the most, and you will be fully responsible for this resource star plan. Your gene calculator will soon receive data from Zhao, the general computer of the Shura Civilization. Yes, sir. Be careful. Although it is just the development of the resource star, no one knows what will be on it. There is even a high possibility that there will be modified genetic organisms left by advanced civilizations. I will use my life to ensure the smooth implementation of this resource star plan. Your life is the most important. If there is really danger, the resource star plan can be abandoned. Mo Chen patted Yura on the shoulder, which surprised Yura. In the data given by the dream world, all players are heroes. Before they become the masters of this civilization, the image of this civilization master has always been a man with great strategy, and it is impossible for him to give up his plan for one person. Thank you for your respect, my king. Go. Mo Chen smiled gently at Yura. When Yura left, she felt her heart begin to beat. That's the king. What am I thinking about? Yura shook her head and left the research institute. Dream Realm. Open the civilization data. Mo Chen wanted to know the detailed data of his civilization. Shura Civilization, second-class civilization, 201-250, first-generation super soldiers, 8113, actual number of soldiers, number of genes, second-generation super soldiers, 5/12, first-generation weapons, 8113, already loaded, total number, second-generation weapons, 5/12, first-generation space battleships, 12 second-generation space battleships, 1 total army, 20 million total population, 5.01 billion, 1,023,021 people. Second-class civilization blueprint, 1 sheet, month, unlocked civilization technology, divine body level 2, battleship level 2, weapon level 2, space level 1, civilian level 1, branch technology, none, can be studied. Estimated research cost, level 1, 500,000/time, success rate 50%, time, half a year, level 2, 2 million, time, success rate 45%, time, 2 years, resource star, none relationship, on PC civilization only, demon civilization, sheltered, we still need to study the branch technology a little bit, planetary defense. Battleship weapons and other things definitely need to be studied. Mo Chen scratched his hair. Why am I so busy now that I've recharged my account? Mo Chen rubbed his temples and planned to go to Fate to discuss the research on the technology of the division. Boom. Everyone raise your hands. A group of people dressed in black invaded the small town located in the north of the Shura Civilization. All the guards of this town have been killed by them, and she, the leader of the underground army of the Shura Civilization, walked into the mayor's mansion of this town. Damn Mo Chen, how did they come up with that supercomputer called Zhao? We have already defeated 16 strongholds. And she slammed his fist on the table. Chief, the computers of all the hackers who tried to invade us have been reversely invaded, and the remaining 12 strongholds have all been found. A communications soldier rushed in and told Enshi the news that made the situation worse. Enshi fainted because of the news, but he woke up soon, and he was shaken awake by his men. Chief, what should we do now? Alas. Enshi sighed. First, we should completely control this town. If their army comes, we should take these residents as hostages. But the purpose of our underground army? Anshi's men hesitated. We need to be flexible. If the underground army is destroyed, then our purpose will never be realized. Hearing this, the underground army had no choice but to follow Anshi's orders. This civilization is it is obviously a second-class civilization, but there are still such rats. Nagusa was in this town at this time, and she was observing the invasion of the underground army. Should I go and play with these little rats, just as a gift to the king of this civilization when I go back? Oh, no, they are seeking asylum, and they should give me a gift. Nagusa began to think about it. But the underground army soon interrupted her thinking. Raise your hands. Be quiet. Do you want to die? The residents of the town were imprisoned by the underground army. You, follow us. An underground soldier found Nagusa and shouted at her with a gun. Yes, yes, yes. Nagusa raised her hand, intending to play with him. Oh, you are pretty. Because it was at night, the soldier didn't see Nagusa's appearance until she walked in. Turn around. The soldier pressed Nagusa's shoulders and tried to tie her hands behind her back. Ah! The soldier screamed, and saw that his 2 hands that were pressing on Nagusa had been cut off. Do you know? Except for Queen Morgana and my parents, everyone who has touched me is dead. Nagusa held a silver sword blade in her hand. Other underground soldiers also noticed the movement here, and began to point their guns at Nagusa. Originally, I didn't want to kill you, but now, I have changed my mind. 0.01 seconds before countless bullets shot at her, she moved, leaving only an afterimage in the original place. Without a sound, one after another, the underground soldiers fell to the ground, with blood gushing from their necks. The last scene before their death was the scene of their comrades falling to the ground. What's going on? And she heard the sound of gunfire outside and walked out immediately. But what appeared in front of him were countless corpses of underground soldiers. What happened? Who did all this? And she looked at the scene in front of him and shouted angrily. But this anger soon turned into fear. He realized that these corpses appeared in an instant, but he couldn't imagine how these soldiers died. If they could easily kill these soldiers, they could naturally kill him easily. What happened? And she grabbed a townsman and asked, I don't know. There was a woman. The townsman stuttered. What woman? A god. Bang. And she fired at the townsman. But the scene that appeared next was enough to make him unforgettable for his whole life. Although his life was about to end, a hand appeared between him and the townsman. The bullet was also caught by that hand. He's right. I am God. The sword blade in Nagusa's hand was already placed on Anshi's neck. This is impossible. Who sent you here? Did Mo Chen discover us? Anshi couldn't believe the scene in front of him and could only use shouting to cover up his fear. Do you know that your saliva almost sprayed on me just now? When Anshi shouted, his saliva almost went to Nagusa's face, but was blocked by the body barrier she released. Nagusa's eyes were full of anger at this time. Puff. Anshi's neck was cut open. Nagusa looked at the terrified townspeople around her and calmly restored her demonic true form. Mortals who offend God are destined to die. After leaving this sentence, Nagusa flew into the sky, and no one knew where she went afterwards. Ding. Congratulations to the player. The underground army inside your civilization has been completely destroyed, and you have been rewarded with 1 million divine energy points. To be honest, Mo Chen was confused. Hasn't the leader of the underground army escaped? Zhao, what's going on? Mo Chen contacted Zhao through his genetic computer. Soon, a photo appeared in his database. It was a 2-meter-tall female demon, surrounded by the corpses of the underground army. Chapter 10 New title, new function. Looking at the information transmitted by Zhao, Mo Chen could only sigh. Is it that people with some strength like to play the pig and eat the tiger? Who are you talking about as a pig? A woman's voice suddenly appeared behind Mo Chen. Mo Chen turned around suddenly and saw a woman in black silk and white leather clothes standing behind him. However, before her voice appeared, neither his genetic computer system nor Zhao gave a warning. Damn, technological suppression is really a headache, although I think so in my heart. Mo Chen will not say so. It seems that you are the messenger of a demon civilization. Stop, you haven't answered my question yet. Who do you say is a pig? Nagasaw is not a guy who follows the rules. This is just a rhetorical device. Please don't take it too seriously. In fact, this is actually a compliment. Mo Chen had to say a half-true and half-false sentence. Through micro-expression analysis, Nagasaw felt something was wrong, but she couldn't tell what was wrong this time, so she had to give up. All right. Nagusa waved her hands. This time, I am here as an envoy of the demon civilization. I will sign 3 contracts with you on behalf of the demon civilization. Which 3? Mo Chen asked Zhao to move a chair behind Nagusa in the palace. The first one is that you need to assist us in the battle when our demon civilization calls for it. The assisting troops must be at least 1/3 of the total number of troops in your civilization. Nagusa sat on the chair. I hope to add a secondary contract here. Mo Chen stated his request. What secondary treaty? If there is no war in our civilization, I will send 40% of the troops. But if there is a war, I hope we can consider it at our discretion, but the troops we send will not be less than 15%. Nagusa thought for a while. Yes, you can join this secondary treaty. Do you have any other requests? No. Okay, then the second treaty is next. I will be stationed here for a long time as the combat force of our civilization to provide shelter for your civilization. And you also need to contribute the following resources to me. Nagusa gave Mo Chen a list. These resources may not be affordable until we occupy the resource star. You are a second-level civilization, but you don't have a resource star yet? Nagusa was a little surprised. Although the resources on the resource star need to wait until the third-level civilization, most of the civilizations in the universe have already occupied the resource star in the universe before they have developed to the level of the first-level civilization. This civilization is really a bit special. The plan and the resource is already in preparation. Okay, but when you obtain the resource star, this treaty will take effect immediately. No problem. The third treaty, when our civilization needs to go to war in your place, your civilization will unconditionally serve as our outpost. No, Mo Chen decisively rejected this treaty. Reason: this is a question of sovereignty of our civilization. Even if we accept your asylum, we must not lose our sovereignty. We can provide you with a planet as an outpost, but our civilization will never be your outpost. Mo Chen knew what the outpost of the demon civilization was like. All the people on that planet could be transformed into demons by the demon civilization at any time to participate in the war. So Mo Chen would never allow his civilization to become an outpost of the demon civilization. If you cannot accept this treaty, I am afraid we cannot provide you with suitable asylum. Our civilization will suffer losses when it goes out to fight. When you accept the asylum of our civilization, you have become the enemy of the angel civilization. If our civilization fights here and cannot get additional troops, we will refuse to give you asylum. Nagusa said, we can provide the prisoners captured by our civilization during the war. Mo Chen had his reasons for needing the asylum of the demon civilization, so he could not give up. So, your idea is that we can't use your planet as an outpost, but you can open up a planet and place your prisoners of war on it as our outpost, right? Obviously, that's what I mean. As long as there are soldiers to replenish, there is no problem. We can accept it. The demon civilization has actually accepted similar requests many times, so Nagusa has no pressure to accept it. This is the contract book of the demon civilization. Nagusa took out a chip. You call this a book? Mo Chen looked at the chip. Those ignorant civilizations said that we demons will use the contract book when signing a contract. The queen was very satisfied with this name, so she called this chip the contract book. Okay. Mo Chen implanted the chip into his body. This chip needs to reach the second generation of the divine body before it can be removed. Before reaching the second generation of the divine body, if he violates the contract, then the chip will directly explode in his body, and it will also take his life. But Mo Chen has nothing to be afraid of. After all, before Mo Chen reaches the second generation of the divine body, he violates the contract and will also be killed by the demon civilization. It seems that this task is quite easy. After Mo Chen implanted the chip, Nagusa stretched her waist, and her proud figure was fully exposed in front of Mo Chen. "I will build a special palace for you." "No need." Nagusa stood up. "Your civilization is quite interesting. I will continue to travel in your civilization and will not stay in your palace." Nagusa directly entered a space gate and left the palace. 1 month later. "My king, we have arrived at the #1 resource star. You reported the situation to Mo Chen on the space battleship. Resource star #1 produces 500 tons of low-grade metal per year, or 50,000 units of low-grade metal, and is a first-level resource star. In the super god universe of the dream world, there will be a giant beast born by nature on each level of resource star with a combat power equal to that of a first-generation super soldier. In the game, defeating the giant beast and occupying the core of the resource star is considered to be the real occupation of the resource star. However, it is worth noting that the combat power of the giant beast is actually stronger than that of a super soldier of the same level. Be a little careful, the combat power of the giant beast is still very strong. Also, pay attention to whether there are unknown threats on the planet, just in case, to reduce unnecessary losses. Mo Chen instructed. Such instructions are not without reason. In the anime, Yan of the Angel Civilization once encountered a biological transformation left by the Death Civilization on Earth. Yes, 5 space battleships descended on the planet. Yuri first asked the drone to start scanning the entire planet to find the giant beast. After killing the giant beast, there will be an energy core in the body of the giant beast, and that energy core is closely connected to the core of the planet. Soon the drone transmitted the image back. Not far from them, an 8-meter-tall giant beast was sleeping. Found it. Yuri's eyes flashed with sword light. All troops attack. Under Yuri's command, the soldiers rushed in that direction. Congratulations to player Mo Chen for becoming the first player in the world to occupy a resource star, and the reward is 3 million divine energy points. The power ranking function has been enabled. This was the first server-wide notification message that appeared. But soon Mo Chen received the second message notification. But it was not a server-wide notification. Because you successfully occupied a resource star within 3 months, you were awarded the title of Plunderer. What's going on? The title appeared again. Mo Chen was stunned and immediately checked the server-wide notification. Because player Mo Chen was awarded the title of Plunderer, the martial arts performance function was enabled. Mo Chen opened the power ranking list. Currently, he was the only one on it, with a power value of 13. The power value of a first-level resource star is only 13 points. Then Mo Chen checked the martial arts performance function. He had never encountered this function in his previous life. Martial arts performance players will be able to conduct simulated wars through this function, which is divided into 3 parts. The first part is to conduct simulated battles with the enemies provided by the system. If the battle is won, a small amount of resources will be obtained. The second part is a single challenge battle. Players can place a bet and fight with other players. The player who wins the battle can get all the bets. The third part is the ranking match. Players will fight against each other. It is divided into initial bronze, advanced silver, glorious gold, brilliant diamond, strongest king, unparalleled fighting god, and cosmic emperor. The higher the rank of the players, the more rewards they can get. The rank settlement time is once every 4 years. Sure enough, there were still many functions in the previous life, but they disappeared because no one triggered the title. Now it is more like a game. Compared with the previous life, it has reduced a lot of cruelty. Mo Chen plans to try to fight with the system. Currently, there are 10 enemy options. The combat power of these 10 enemies corresponds to the 1st to 5th generation super soldiers and the 1st to 5th generation divine bodies. But these enemies are all at the level of giant beasts, and their combat power exceeds that of the same level. Chen chose to directly fight against the giant beast equivalent to the third-generation super soldier. After entering the interface, he saw the team option. The maximum number of people carried is 20, and the 20 people carried are all simulated by the system. Chen chose to bring all the second-generation super soldiers in his civilization, including him, a total of 8. For the other 12 slots, he chose to use his 12 maids who have become first-generation super soldiers to enter. The system refreshed a giant beast that was 10 meters tall and looked like a dragon. The victory reward was also clearly marked at the back. 500,000 low-level medals, 500,000 low-level energy, 500,000 low-level stones, 500,000 low-level crystals, and 5 million divine energy points. The role of metal is mainly used for weapon manufacturing and warship manufacturing. The role of energy is mainly used for gene manufacturing. The role of stone is mainly used for the manufacture of various buildings in civilization. Buildings made of special stones will have improved effects. The role of crystals is mainly used in space. After each martial arts performance with the system is completed, there will be a cooling period of up to 1 year. Let's get started. Chen rubbed his hands together. Chapter 11 Martial Arts Performance. Roar. As soon as they entered the martial arts arena, they heard the roar of a huge dragon-shaped monster that was 10 meters tall. The monster was about 5 kilometers away from Chen and his companions. Shield warriors protect the long-range firepower. Mobile warriors pay attention to attract. Close combat warriors find opportunities to kill and stop the beast's advance at the critical moment. Seeing that the beast was already rushing, Chen immediately made a battle plan. After Chen's tactical plan was completed, all the highly mobile soldiers in the team who used long-range attacks all rushed towards the beast in a dispersed manner. The long-range firepower of heavy weapons will launch an attack after the mobile warriors attract the attention of the beast. As a close combat warrior, Chen will shoulder the responsibility of delaying the beast's impact on the long-range firepower unit. Number 1, Number 2, and Number 3 release smoke bombs to interfere with the beast's vision. In order to facilitate combat, everyone will be organized into numbers 1 to 19. Long-range firepower is ready to fire. Behind Chen, a large number of light missiles and laser cannons began to be loaded. Boom. Mobile team, launch the attack. After the mobile team started the attack, Chen immediately commanded the long-range firepower to start the attack. Roar. The attack of Chen and others made the giant beast angry. The attack of the mobile team was like being pricked by needles to the giant beast, so it attracted the attention of the giant beast, but could not cause effective damage to it. However, the long-range firepower could make the giant beast's skin and flesh burst. The giant beast wanted to attack the long-range firepower, but the long-range firepower immediately stopped firing, and the mobile team continued to attack it. Because of the influence of smoke, the giant beast did not immediately find the location of the long-range firepower, so its attention was quickly attracted by the mobile team. Yura dodged the tail of the giant beast. As a very agile warrior, she became the temporary commander of the long range of the mobile team. Number 1, start high-frequency attack. Number 2 and Number 3 stop attacking and move. Under Yura's command, the mobile team led the giant beast well. Prepare for the second round of artillery. After seeing the giant beast being led, Chen planned to let the long-range firepower start the second round of attack. Attack. Boom. This round of attack caused the beast to suffer very serious damage. On its back, several giant thorns were even broken directly. This time, the damage made the beast's attention completely focused on the long-range firepower team. We can no longer contain it, Yura said in the communication system. Melee troops fill in, and the mobile team will attack behind us. Chen led the melee troops and rushed up immediately. Chen first fired a shot at the belly of the beast, and then immediately gathered up the big sword and slashed at the opponent. Bang! The angry beast swung a claw directly at Chen. Chen immediately transformed his weapon into a shield form and took the blow. But it was also because he took this blow that the remaining melee fighters successfully slowed down the pace of the beast. Chen was directly swung more than 30 meters away by this claw, and a mouthful of blood spit out of his mouth. His internal organs were seriously damaged. The body is starting to repair. The genetic computer has begun to repair Mo Chen's body, and Mo Chen also began to attack from a distance, and the laser cannon mounted on the big sword began to be released continuously. The long-range firepower begins the third round of attack. In Mo Chen's plan, this round should be able to directly cripple the giant beast. However, it is a pity that a pair of armor wings suddenly extended from the back of the giant beast, which withstood this round of artillery fire. Although the pair of armor wings were destroyed, the body of the giant beast was not damaged. Instead, the melee fighters were already somewhat unable to bear it. The melee team began to retreat, and the long-range firepower started the fourth round of attack to provide cover. Mo Chen immediately issued an order, because the melee troops needed to retreat. This round of artillery fire did not cause a lot of effective casualties. The shield guard team began to take the lead, and everyone went all out. Mo Chen observed that the giant beast had actually begun to enter a fatigue period after fighting until now. After all, the recovery of physical injuries requires a lot of energy. Under Mo Chen's command, the last round of attack began. The giant beast failed to successfully break through the guard team and was eventually submerged in the artillery fire. Congratulations on winning the martial arts performance. After the giant beast was killed, Mo Chen and others withdrew from the martial arts performance platform. The 19 warriors have disappeared, and Mo Chen's injuries have completely recovered. At the same time, various rewards have been issued on the resource panel of the civilization. Not bad. But soon, another panel was transmitted to Mo Chen. This is a panel about the performance of each member of this martial arts performance. Your command score 9.3, full score 10, command MVP, combat score 9.5, combat MVP Mo Chen, command score 7.2, command ranked second, combat score 6.5, combat ranked 10th. Mo Chen, my score is so low. Mo Chen was a little unbelievable. However, the dream world did not explain this. Forget it. Mo Chen shook his head and opened the qualifying panel. The rules of the qualifying are that the dream world will simulate a star field, and the planets of the two players in this star field will also be simulated in it. Except for these two planets, there will be no life on other planets. Whoever of the two players can occupy the other's main star first will win. The time flow rate of the qualifying is 365 to 1. But even so, Mo Chen didn't plan to play. At least he wouldn't play before the end of the first year. Interstellar war takes a lot of time. Even if it's fast, it will take about a month. And if it's slow, it may take 100 years. Now his civilization doesn't have too much advantage over other civilizations. If he fights, it will probably be a protracted war, which will make him miss a lot of things in the civilization. Fight. Has the first batch of expansions of the Research Institute and the Engineering Department been completed? Mo Chen contacted Fight through Zhao. It's completed. Now, whether it's genes, weapons or warships, our manufacturing scale can be doubled. Very good. The manufacturing scale still needs to be expanded. Now I require all manufacturing to reach the maximum. After finishing the call with Fight, Mo Chen immediately contacted Yura again. My king, Yura, the second batch of warships will be sent here soon. You will stay on this resource star for the time being. After the second batch of warships arrive, you will go to the next resource star. Yes, my king. After Yura hung up Mo Chen's communication, she looked outside. There was a pile of mechanical wreckage there, which was discovered by the mining team during the mining process. According to speculation, these wreckages should be 10,000 years old. It is not clear which civilization they belong to, but Yura did not tell Mo Chen about this news. After further analysis, she thought she could handle this matter by herself. She planned to tell Mo Chen about the previous things after she finished it, so that Mo Chen would have less worries. Sir, should we go in now? A maid came over. Is everyone ready? Yura asked. All the sisters are ready for battle. Okay, go in. Chapter 12 Super Seminary. Led by Yuru, a group of maids entered the cave where a large number of mechanical debris were found. This resource star should have belonged to a certain civilization in the past. There are traces of their mining here. Yuru observed the inside of the cave. Everyone, be careful. There may be their defense measures left here. The maids were ready. and all the maids holding shields stood at the outermost edge. Ding! Super energy life forms detected. Life signs. Chen body. Yuru and others found a mechanical core. Which civilization do you belong to? Yuru asked. Droker civilization. Yuru was stunned for a moment. There was definitely no such civilization in these star fields. I'm sorry, we haven't heard of this civilization. Which star field is this? Yalloat star field. Did we actually teleport to such a far place at that time? Teleport? What do you mean? Yuru asked hurriedly. We are from the Genok star field, which is about 16,723 light-years away from here. Why did you come here? Our civilization was destroyed in the experiment of the Death God civilization. The experiment of the Death God civilization? Yes, it was a biological destruction experiment. All the organisms of our civilization were destroyed, leaving only us, the products of technology. We have been on this planet for 10,000 years. At first, we relied on mining the energy on this planet to barely survive. But gradually, many artificial intelligences here gave birth to self-awareness. They planned to use this planet to build warships and develop their own civilization. But they overlooked one thing. Our machines themselves do not have particularly strong combat power. So at the beginning of development, we were killed by the guardian beasts on this planet. Is that so, madam? I hope to get your protection. I may need to contact the king of our civilization first. Yuru replied, but at the same time she also winked at the guards around her. All the guards relaxed, and Yuru also pretended to start communicating. Suddenly, several lasers shot at them. Unfortunately, all these lasers were blocked. You are deceiving us. Yuru glared at the mechanical core. Did you find out? The whole cave suddenly began to shake. Yuru and others hurriedly began to exit the cave. When they exited the cave, a huge mechanical beast also crawled out of the cave. You must want to use this mechanical beast to fight against the giant beast. Yes, but it's not us. I am the artificial intelligence of this mechanical beast. I betrayed them and destroyed them all. The mechanical beast did not attack immediately. Those machines did not have self-awareness. They created me for revenge. But I know very well that I am not strong enough to defeat even a minion of the Death Civilization. But they have control over my action orders. So I lured the guardian beast of this planet to destroy them all. But because of this, I will stay here forever. Because I have no flying and fighting capabilities. There is no network here. I cannot study. And they have not downloaded relevant manufacturing knowledge for me. It's just that I am very lucky that since you came here, the network of your civilization has extended here. I cannot hack into the computers of your civilization itself, but I don't know why. There was a loophole in your civilization's network for a while. Nagusa interfered with some of Zhao's operations in order to conceal her whereabouts, and I relied on this loophole to learn the technology of your civilization. But what makes me curious is, how did you find out that I was trying to attack you? The mechanical behemoth made a sound through the mechanical core. Haha, your understanding of the Death God civilizations should only come from the video record saved by those machines. Yes, I guess you haven't found our civilization's research data on the divine body. Yes, then you may not know that all your data operations have been intercepted by my genetic computer. Genetic computer? No need to say more, just kill him directly. Under Yuru's leadership, this mechanical behemoth with computing power equivalent to that of a first-generation super soldier and weapons and equipment that did not even reach the level of a first-level civilization was quickly destroyed. Mission completed. After confirming that the mechanical behemoth was completely killed, Yuru announced, in fact, Chen knew everything that happened here. In his previous life, this set of mechanical behemoths brought him great trouble and caused his mining troops to suffer heavy losses. But Chen treated it as if he didn't know these things and let Yuru complete this task privately, because he knew that Yuru would eventually have to have such ability. After all, when hundreds of thousands of warships and tens of millions of troops go out to fight, he can't take care of everything. His generals must have the ability to solve some small things on their own. It's handled well. It seems that the resource star plan can be handed over to her. Chen stretched lazily. By the way, I saw something called a designated space-time transmission device in the God Diamond Mall. Chen opened the God Diamond Mall as he thought about it. He exchanged the device worth 10,000 blood diamonds. Can I use it to go to Blue Star? Mo-chan began to think. Use it. The space-time transmission device has been turned on. Please enter the transmission coordinates. Coordinates? Mo-chan recalled the coordinates of Blue Star. In fact, there is no need to think about it. 0, 0, 0 inches. The coordinates are located in the Chiwu star system. Blue Star, are you sure to transmit? Wait a minute. Mo-chan planned to instruct some things first. An hour later, confirmed to transmit. The space-time transmission device suddenly released something similar to a black hole and transmitted Mo-chan in. It should be 1110 AD now. Mo-chan looked at the thatched houses and the farmers who came and went in cloth clothes. Then, who is that person? He's dressed so strangely. Did he suddenly appear here? A bunch of farmers began to whisper. Mo-chan also realized that those people were pointing and talking, and hurriedly left this place. 1110 AD. It should be the Song dynasty. Should I go to the super seminary first? Mo-chan began to think about it. In this universe, the super seminary arrived on Blue Star more than 2,000 years ago, but he didn't need to look for it at all. The super seminary found him as soon as he arrived on Blue Star. A guy dressed in blue suddenly appeared in front of him. I don't know who you are, the blue-skinned old man asked. I am the king of the Shura Civilization, just a very weak civilization. Shura Civilization? The old man hesitated for a moment. There was no such civilization in his memory. Forget it. Hello, my name is Wandering Rise. The old man stretched out a hand. Mo-chan thought about it and shook it. I wonder why you came here? I just used the space-time device to play in the universe. Mo-chan smiled, but this smile was a bit wrong in the eyes of Wandering Rise. Are you kidding? A second-generation super soldier uses a space-time device to play in the universe? Are you kidding? You must be joking. Sir, if you don't believe me, I can't help it. Mo-chan spread his hands. Well, I wonder if you are willing to come to our super seminary? Of course. Mo-chan said that this is what he wanted. Although Du Cao's presence would put him in more danger, his unclear identity at the moment could make them cautious. Mo-chan followed Wandering Rise to the location of the super seminary, seeking a wave of investment. Thank you everyone. Chapter 13, Get to know each other. This is the headquarters of our Super God Academy. Wandering Rise brought Mo-chan to a large manor. Although the manor was large, there were not many people. In addition to Wandering Rise, there was also a man in official robes and the Monkey King in armor. In the plot of Super God Academy, Sun Wukong was a third-generation super warrior from Earth. In the Super God universe modified by the fantasy realm, Sun Wukong became a second-generation god. Is this the alien that Lao Du mentioned? Is this the extent of his strength? Sun Wukong sat on a reclining chair with his legs crossed, eating a peach. Wukong, don't be rude. The man in official robes stretched out a hand. Hello, I am the diplomat of this planet to other civilizations in the universe. My name is Du Cao. Mo-chan shook his hand. Hello, I think Rise has already told me my identity, so I won't introduce myself. I'm just traveling in the universe. Our civilization was lucky enough to get a space machine that can travel freely in the universe, and I came here by just inputting a coordinate. Du Cao and others looked at each other, all a little suspicious. Don't worry about me, I won't make trouble. Speaking of which, this civilization is very backward, but why do super life forms like you exist? Mo-chan pretended to be unclear. Don't you know what the super seminary is? Wandering Rise narrowed his eyes. At this time, the three people were in their independent channels. Old Du, where did this brat come from? He said he was the king of Shura Civilization, but I haven't heard of this civilization. He is only at the level of a second-generation super soldier. If he is the king, their civilization should only be a second-class civilization. A civilization of that level cannot have the ability to transmit freely in the universe. Let's see the situation first. Okay, why think so much? If he wants to make trouble, I, old son, will knock him to the ground with a stick. Sir, this is the guest room we prepared for you. Wandering Rise took Mo-chan to an empty room. After some discussion, Du Cao and others decided to keep Mo-chan first. But Mo-chan's life must be under their supervision. Compared with the tension of Du Cao and others, Mo-chan seemed very relaxed. Day by day, he would go here to play, and then go there to play. Occasionally, he would learn from Nagusa to play the pig and eat the tiger. In fact, the biggest purpose of Mo Chen's coming this time was to make himself familiar in front of these important NPCs in the future. But even so, he needs to go back now. In the past 2 months, the Shura Civilization has occupied a total of 6 resource stars, and the manufacturing scale it can provide has doubled again. You too. Thank you very much for your company in the past 2 months. Now I need to leave. Mo Chen looked at Du Cao and Wandering Rise. His tone was very calm. As for Wukong, after confirming that Mo Chen was not in any major danger, he went directly back to his Huaga mountain. Leave. How to leave? Du Cao frowned, and found that things were not that simple. It's very simple. My time and space device has a function to send me back. Under the attention of Du Cao and Wandering Rise, Mo Chen confirmed the return function of the time and space transmission device. Then another vortex similar to a black hole sucked Mo Chen in. This guy must have come for a purpose, but I don't know which civilization is behind him. Wandering Rise pressed his temple and felt a headache. When the enemy comes, the general will fight back, and when the water comes, the earth will flood. There is no use thinking too much. Our only goal now is to protect this planet. Du Cao took a deep breath. Report, there is a strong spatial reaction on Blue Star. A soldier on Liang Star reported to Panzen. Strong spatial fluctuations? Can you determine which civilization's technology it belongs to? Not yet. It should not belong to any civilization that has ever come to Blue Star. Forget it. Since the monkey didn't do anything, I guess the other party should have no idea about Blue Star. Panzen, Liang Star's commander, waved his hand. The planet Langson has attracted the attention of too many civilizations in the universe. There will definitely be a bloody storm here in the future. I hope our choice of Liang Star is not wrong. Panzen sighed. My king, among all the resource star maps I have now, the only one that is close is this second-level resource star. Should we attack this second-level resource star? You reported the situation to Mo Chen. Do you think we have the ability to attack a second-level resource star now? Mo Chen asked back. Currently, the expedition team has a total of 5 second-generation super soldiers and 40 first-generation super soldiers. We should have the ability to attack a second-level resource star. You replied. We do have the strength to attack, but have you considered the losses? Can you ensure that you can still bring back as many people as you brought with you? My king, I'm not sure. Mo Chen's fingers tapped up and down on the table regularly. Resource stars mean foundation. We will soon be promoted to a third-level civilization. If we have more resources, we can soar to the sky. But if you are damaged on this resource star, then the loss will be greater for me. My king, I hope you can send a group of super soldiers. Hearing this, Mo Chen nodded. This is what he wanted to hear. Although Yu is a person who makes him feel very reassured, the other party can effectively complete the tasks he assigned, and can also share his worries to a certain extent. But if the other party is unwilling to make such a request for support, then one day there will be very serious consequences. Very good. I will send 3 second-generation super soldiers and 10 first-generation super soldiers to help you. This number of super soldiers can theoretically defeat a second-level monster without any losses. I will definitely live up to my king's trust. After hanging up the call with Yu, Mo Chen began to plan his next trip. At present, all of his guards and maids have basically begun to transform into super soldiers. After completing these, the genes of these super soldiers are destined to be promoted to all the troops. However, although he has begun to reorganize the army before, it is still difficult to achieve very significant results in just a few months. He needs to conduct a selection in the army to select those truly loyal and capable soldiers and transform them into super soldiers. Pass the order down. In half a month, I want the elite troops of each military region to come to the royal city. I want to select the best 1,000 soldiers, and these selected soldiers will gain stronger strength and become the highest level group of soldiers in our civilization. Mo Chen called a few attendants. In fact, he could have done it through Zhao, but he didn't do it, because he knew that notifying through a computer and notifying through his most trusted attendant would have different effects. Doing so would make it easier to leave your own mark in the hearts of those officers and soldiers. I just watched Liang Tan Dao today. How should I put it? Although it is pretty good, it is not as good as I expected. Originally, I wanted to write these 2 chapters according to the plot of Liang Tan Dao, but then I thought about it and decided not to. After all, the protagonist is just a piece of trash at this level, and Monkey King can probably knock him out with one blow. Chapter 14, Single Duel. I heard that each of the major military regions sent nearly 3,000 to 5,000 people this time. Wouldn't it be very difficult to compete for the 1,000 places? No matter how difficult it is, we have to go. I heard that the 1,000 people selected there will directly become Super Gene Warriors. Super Gene Warriors. Have you heard of them? Just like the guards of my king, each one is like a Superman. And it is said that those who become Super Warriors will receive state subsidies from their families all year round, with 500,000 credit points every year. Under Mo Chan's order, batches of troops gathered from major military regions to the royal city, with a total of 40,000 people. The quality of these soldiers is not bad. Mo Chan watched the performance of these soldiers through Zhao. My king, the competition platform has been completed. According to the plan, it should be your turn to explain the process and rules of this competition to them. A servant said. Okay, I understand. Mo Chan left the palace and went to the competition venue. Everyone, I believe you all already know the purpose of this selection. Mo Chen stood on a high platform, and below him, 40,000 soldiers were lined up in an orderly manner. This competition is divided into 6 events. The final ranking will refer to the total score of these 6 events. Among them, any soldier who ranks in the top 100 in any 2 of the 6 events can directly become one of the 1,000 soldiers. The first event is the individual combat capability. We will send each soldier to fight against the enemy simulated by the system, and rank them according to the number of rounds you complete. The second event is the combat analysis capability. We will use artificial intelligence to simulate a variety of possible situations on the battlefield, and the decision you make will affect your final score in this event. The third event is the squad command capability. We will use artificial intelligence to simulate 5 subordinate soldiers for each soldier. The weapons of these simulated soldiers will be selected by you. After the selection is completed, you will lead your squad to fight against the enemies simulated by the system. The number of enemies defeated will be the key to your ranking. The fourth event is willpower. We will use artificial intelligence to simulate your willpower in various situations. The comprehensive score will be determined by how long you can persist in these situations. The fifth event is the battleship command capability. You will become the captain of a space battleship under the simulation of artificial intelligence, and then you will enter a simulated starfield to fight. I won't tell you about the last event for now, but this event will produce the most important test, so I hope you can pay attention to it. Mo Chan explained the rules of this competition in detail to the soldiers. The last thing I want to tell you is that even if you are not selected this time, don't be discouraged, because there will be more and more opportunities like this in the future, and our civilization will become stronger and stronger. Okay, I declare that this competition officially begins. Mo Chen walked down from the high platform. My king, do you want to stay and watch? No, something just happened here that I need to deal with immediately. Faced with the question of the supervisor of this competition, Mo Chen refused. Just now, he received news from Yunfeng that someone in the alliance formed by Yunfeng was not satisfied with Mo Chen's position as their highest leader. The other party challenged him to a 1v1, which is a duel in martial arts performance. Not only that, the other party also asked for a chip of 10 million divine energy value. This person is very confident. Mo Chen looked at the ID in front of him. Cameron Audros. It's a VIP 6. But I've never heard of this person in my previous life. Forget it. Let's take a look at how much military strength I have now. Mo Chen clicked on the data panel of his civilization. There are a total of 800 first-generation super soldier genes, but only 600 soldiers have been implanted. There are only 40 second-generation super soldier genes, and only 24 have been implanted so far. There are a total of 96 first-generation space battleships, and only 3 second-generation space battleships. Under normal circumstances, the opponent's military strength cannot be stronger than mine. After all, he doesn't have as many blueprints as I do, and he hasn't unlocked as much technology as I do. Although it takes a lot of time to fight a game, after all, fighting such a game can establish my prestige in that alliance. Well, let's just fight a game and try to get it done as quickly as possible. Zhao, you will be fully responsible for this game. Yes, my master. Are you the one who wants to challenge me? Chen sent a message to Adros. Hundreds of thousands of light years away, a man surrounded by dozens of beautiful women checked this message. Yes, 10 million divine energy points as a bet. Do you dare to fight? Adros was very confident, and his confidence came from the treasure he got a month ago. Come on. Chen was very calm. He opened the duel of the martial arts function and invited Adros. When Adros entered, Chen chose the low difficulty and clicked to confirm. In Chen's eyes, the world did not change at all, but a map appeared above his vision. This is the map of this martial arts star field. This star field has a total of 800 first-level resource stars and 400 second-level resource stars. It is indeed a low difficulty. This is very simple. Send troops to occupy all the resource stars around. It should be possible to simulate the development of civilization here, but the initial state of civilization is the same as the civilization I have now. After occupying the resource stars, it should be the best way to play this mode to directly develop at a high speed. Chen thought so, but Adros on the other side was different. Attack directly. All troops rushed directly towards the main star of Shura Civilization. Adros certainly knew how to play this mode. He had also played the ranking mode, which was basically the same as this mode, but the reason why he chose to rush directly was that the treasure he obtained was a treasure with immediate combat power. It was a semi-biological robot with a combat power of a 4th-level super soldier, but when he got it, this semi-biological robot was actually in a damaged state. Adros took advantage of the opponent's damaged state to modify its data and let it find resources to recover on its own. Now, after a month, the body of this semi-biological robot has basically recovered and has regained the strength of a 4th-level super soldier. Chen certainly didn't know about this, but even if he knew, he would only sneer. Brother, we are playing an interstellar war. Before the individual combat power reaches the divine body, it is garbage facing a space battleship. The reason why Adros was able to win the ranking match before was mainly because most of the players were not proficient in interstellar combat and were not very clear about the use of space battleships in interstellar wars. However, although Adros chose to fight directly, a month had passed when his fleet arrived at Chen's place. This meant that Chen had 400 more first-generation super soldier genes, 20 more second-generation super soldier genes, 40 more first-generation battleships, and 2 more second-generation battleships. A war, teaching people how to fight, was about to break out. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15 Victory. First Fleet. You go to Resource Planet number 1. You don't need to confront the enemy head-on, you hide there. When the enemy is fighting with our main fleet, you go around and attack their rear. Second Fleet. You are deployed on Resource Planet number 3 and number 4. The warships configured in your fleet are all light. What I need you to do is to harass the enemy's main fleet when it approaches. When the enemy advances, I retreat. It's that simple. Even if they retreat, you should not pursue them. Third Fleet. You are deployed on Resource Planet number 16. You have the most important task to do. When the battle officially begins, you will follow my instructions and bombard the enemy's main fleet directly at the right time. On the way over, you also need to hide. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th fleets. You will serve as the main fleet for this battle. You will be on Resource Planet number 2 to fight the enemy. We cannot let the war happen on our main planet. I will fight alongside you then. 9th and 10th fleets. You are responsible for the defense of the main planet. This task is the most important. The defense must be done perfectly. A week ago, Chen discovered the traces of the enemy fleet, so he spent a week urgently deploying on various resource stars. Now, according to Chen's speculation, it will take about 5 days for the opponent's main fleet to reach the battle site, which means his fleet must take action immediately during these 5 days. Understood. The commanders of each fleet said to Chen, "Go. All deployments must be completed as soon as possible, especially the third fleet. Your destination is the farthest, and your warships are also the slowest. Hurry up." Yes. 5 days later, my king, our fleet has approached the opponent's main star, but we were intercepted by the opponent's deployed fleet on a resource star, and we are currently in a stalemate. The fleet leader of Adros was reporting the situation to Adros. "This is normal. You have been harassed by the enemy fleet for the past 3 days. It is impossible that they have not made arrangements. The battle is still carried out according to the plan. The main fleet will fight against the enemy's main fleet directly, and then let the 2 second-generation super soldiers of our civilization follow low rank, a semi-biological robot, to sneak into the enemy's main ship from the back and occupy the enemy's main ship." Yes, the fleet led by Orlando has a total of 40 first-level space battleships and 1 second-level space battleship. In fact, this is all the troops of Adros. All battleships are dispatched to attack the enemy fleet. Orlando issued an order. Report: Lord Lorank has left the ship. A soldier reported the situation to Orlando. Yes, Orlando nodded. He was at the end of the entire fleet, and the battleship he was on was also the main ship of the fleet. Now he was watching the battle between the 2 main fleets. The enemy's firepower is stronger than ours. They have more warships than us, and they also have more second-level space battleships than us. We can only hope that Lorank's invasion plan can be completed. Each fleet of Chen is composed of 12 space battleships. Although the main fleet that Chen is currently fighting in the front is composed of only 4 fleets, the total number of warships has reached 48. In addition, he has also placed 3 second-level space battleships in this main fleet. Something is wrong. Why is there another fleet approaching behind our fleet? He just raised his doubts when Aurora came. The main ship he was on had been attacked by Chen's first fleet. Warships number 5 and number 6 will immediately return to protect our rear, Orlando immediately commanded. But soon the alarm sounded again in the command room. Alarm! Alarm! A large number of interstellar missiles are flying towards us. Chen's third fleet, carrying a large amount of artillery, had already stationed on the 16th resource star. Now they are firing wildly at Orlando's fleet. It's over. Orlando sat down in the command room of the main ship with a dusty face. Through the warning of the ship, he already knew the total number of artillery fires. This number of artillery fires can easily destroy 10 first-level space battleships. No, I must complete the king's order. Orlando stood up. All warships dispersed. Do not gather together, and move closer to the enemy's main fleet. Orlando's plan was very simple. By dispersing the fleet, the enemy's artillery fire could not cover a large number of warships at once. By moving closer to the enemy's main fleet, the enemy would be afraid to act rashly. This order is expected. Chen said that this was normal after observing the behavior of the enemy fleet. But if the opponent is only this strong, he should not come to provoke. This person should have some backup plan. Report: the main ship is under attack. Soon, the signal from the main ship let Chen know what the opponent's trump card was. 4th level combat power? Chen frowned slightly, and Chen remembered who his opponent was, although he had no impression of the other party's name. Chen knew a joke from his previous life. In his previous life, a player obtained a semi-biological robot with a combat power equivalent to level 4 in the early stage. With the help of the semi-biological robot and the money the other party had spent, he developed very rapidly. Later, this person upgraded the semi-biological robot to level 6, but he never expected that the civilization to which the robot originally belonged still existed. It was a level 7 NPC civilization. After the semi-biological robot reached level 6, it received instructions from its original civilization and killed the player with its own hands. After losing the player, The civilization will not disappear immediately, but it will also weaken at a very fast speed. The enemy has broken through the fourth line of defense. Everyone evacuate the main ship. Chen gave the order. Before reaching the divine body, the super soldier does not have the ability to fight directly in the universe and will be destroyed by the vacuum environment. What Chen needs to do is to let everyone evacuate the main ship, and then let all the warships fire at the main ship. Chen's troops have always maintained a high efficiency and high level according to Chen's requirements. After Chen issued the order to retreat, everyone had left the main ship in less than 3 minutes. The semi-biological robot was also destroyed along with the main ship after Chen and others left. Report: the enemy's main ship has been destroyed. Orlando received the report from his subordinates. This news made him feel relieved, but he was relieved again soon. But Lord Loran's communication has also been interrupted. Forget it. Orlando waved his hand. As long as the opponent's main ship was destroyed, as long as the opponent temporarily lost the dominant command and launched a full-scale attack, there would still be hope of winning. All firepower is pressed. Orlando made a prompt decision and issued an order. The opponent has begun a full-scale attack. Chen observed the opponent's actions. Start to gather. Following Chen's order, the main fleet began to lean back to avoid entanglement with the opponent's main fleet, and the fleets around the opponent's main fleet all rushed up and surrounded the opponent's main fleet. No need to think, it has already won. After the encirclement was completed, Chen knew that he had won the war. This was indeed the case. Orlando's fleet was completely destroyed, and Chen only lost a second-level space battleship and 12 first-level space battleships. After the main fleet of Adros was completely destroyed, Chen directly led his fleet to advance towards the opponent's main star. It was only 2 months later that Adros's main star and all resource stars had fallen. Chen won the war and 10 million divine energy points. Chapter 16: The Devil's Plan. Boss, you are awesome. It only took half a day to defeat him. Tianfeng saw the battle report Chen sent to the Alliance channel. He pulled out. Inside the Alliance channel, a group of players were shocked by the battle report sent by Chen. Oh my god, this military strength is too exaggerated. That's it, it would take 10 of me to defeat him. Please hold your thighs. Boss, now that the matter has been settled and your prestige has been established, I suggest that you focus your main energy on developing your civilization. Only when your civilization reaches level 3 as soon as possible, your prestige will be more solid. In Tianfeng's plan, the higher the level of Chen's civilization, the greater the threat he brings. The level of a civilization is always more important than the number of warships and super soldiers it has. Tianfeng has also watched the animation of the Hero Company, and he knows the threat of the divine body to a low-level civilization. The improvement of civilization can only rely on its own supercomputers for research and development. Another way is to defeat a higher-level civilization or find the remains of a higher-level civilization. Chen sent Tianfeng such a message. The remains of high-level civilizations usually appear in the center of the universe, where there are also many high-level civilizations. Before reaching a 5-star civilization, the only thing we can do is to use supercomputers to improve the level of civilization. Chen told Tianfeng the news on the grounds that he could ask questions to the dream world as a high-level VIP. It would be great if players could trade items with each other. Tianfeng sighed. In his eyes, only if Chen becomes stronger can he get more benefits. For this, he can even use the development of his own civilization as a price. Don't think too much. Just develop well. Chen closed the chat channel. Zhao, how is the first round of the competition going? It has entered the final stage. At present, only 400 soldiers can continue to fight. Chen's first round of the competition is to let the soldiers fight against different types of enemies and different numbers of enemies in the simulation space. The difficulty of each round increases one by one. In the end, it depends on which soldier can persist in the most rounds. At the same time, the winning conditions of each round are different. That is, to defeat all enemies, some require persistence for a certain period of time, some require reaching a designated location, and some require obtaining a certain item. Bring me the video of their battle. Yes, my king. Boom. Damn it. Why are there so many enemies? In the dense forest, a soldier in camouflage uniform was running fast. Behind him, hundreds of robots were chasing him. We have to hold on for an hour, and now there are 20 minutes left. No, I must find a way to get rid of them, otherwise I can't hold on for 5 minutes, let alone 20 minutes. Renault observed the surrounding environment. If he wanted to really get rid of the tracking of those robots, he had to make sure that those robots could not feel his temperature. Lake, and it must be a big enough lake. Renault began to recall the map he had seen before the start of this round. About 2,500 meters from here, there should be a big lake. As long as we can get there and find a way to stay in it for 5 minutes, we can get rid of them. Renault began to move towards the big lake. Zhao, what do you think of his performance? Chen was watching Renault's performance through Zhao. My king, according to the data analysis, his choice is one of the 10 best choices in the situation he is facing. Then where do you think this choice ranks among the 10 choices? The 10th. What's the first? If he carefully observes the behavior of those robots, he will find that the weapons on those robots are not sufficient. Each robot has only 10 attack opportunities. As long as he is good at deception, he can make all robots lose firepower in the first 20 minutes of this round. After listening to Zhao's analysis, Chen smiled. In this environment, it is not so easy to find out the enemy's weapons. My king, rationally analyzing all the strengths of the opponent is the requirement for soldiers you mentioned in various military regions. Chen laughed. That also depends on the situation, Zhao. They are just ordinary people, unlike you who can perform data analysis. You also have to learn and think from different angles. Chen gently patted the small machine floating beside him, and part of Zhao's data flowed into the machine and stayed with Chen all the time. After Chen patted, the display screen on the machine immediately showed this expression. Oh, don't act pitiful. It doesn't hurt. Chen complained. He's already done well, so keep an eye on this guy. Yes, my king. Switch the channel to other people and see. There are more than 300 people. Maybe there will be someone who can reach the top choice you mentioned. My queen, we have arrived at the Chiwu star system, Achou said to Morgana. Finally. Morgana stretched. She had been traveling in the wormhole before. Morgana was too bored, so she leaned on her throne and dozed for a while. This time, because the angel civilization discovered it suddenly, they were not well prepared in a hurry. So the loss of the demon civilization was not as serious as in the previous life. Today, the demon civilization still has thousands of demons alive, unlike in the previous life, when even Achou died in the war and could only rely on Morgana to revive him with demon genes on the blue star. How is Nagusa recently? Morgana asked. We have lost contact with her. The only thing we can confirm is that her life is safe. It's enough that her life is safe. I don't think there is any civilization that can threaten her in such a remote place. Morgana waved her hand. By the way, I heard that the Fiery Sun civilization is also very interested in Blue Star. The Fiery Sun civilization called itself the Heavenly Tao on Blue Star and tried to make Blue Star their subordinate civilization, but was beaten away by a monkey. Beaten away by a monkey? Morgana was interested in this. That monkey is a warrior brought back from the void by the god of time, Jilin. The void? If he is really a warrior brought back from there, I think the god of death should be very interested in him. Morgana stood up and began to walk back and forth in the lobby. We don't know the specific situation, but the Super God Academy must know, Achou suggested to Morgana. Super Seminary. We really need to go there and take a look, but the Super Seminary has declined. I heard that the current teachers are all new students that I have never heard of. Oh, by the way, is Ducao also on Blue Star? Morgana suddenly turned her head and looked at Achou. Yes, after the destruction of the Diener system, Ducao took the survivors of the Diener system and went to Blue Star with the Super Seminary. That guy is a ruthless person. But it's a pity that Blue Star has not even become a technological civilization now. Even if he has military talent, it is useless. But we can ask him if he is willing to come to our demon civilization. Let's go. According to the rules, we should visit the Fiery Sun civilization first. I'm afraid this will become our temporary base in the future, and the host still needs to be visited. Yes, my king. Chapter 17 Diamond Mall Upgrade. Your demon civilization just had a fight with the angel civilization, so you have ideas about my Liang civilization? Pan Zhen sat in his seat, looking at Morgana who suddenly appeared in front of him. I dare not have any ideas about you. After all, an old guy who easily destroyed the 8th level civilization, Dino civilization. There is a magic change here. Please don't pay too much attention to those who have watched the anime. Is sleeping in your civilization. Humphrey, your demon civilization has always been known for being unrestrained and daring. What are you afraid of? Just tell me, what do you want to do? Pan Zhen stared at Morgana to prevent the other party from attacking. We want to stay in the Chiwu star system for a short time. After all, you also know that the angel civilization has been looking for our traces. We just fought a battle and suffered heavy losses. We need to recover. Morgana used her space ability to take out a chair and sat on it. So, you, a 9th level civilization, come to us, an 8th level civilization, to seek shelter. You are more than just an 8th level civilization. With the power of star explosion, even Keisha dare not underestimate you. We take you in. What can you give us? Pan Zhen began to think about the interests involved. Although sheltering the demon civilization is bound to be under pressure from the angel civilization, however, with the angel civilization's traditional style of doing things, it is only natural for them to let the Liang civilization release the demon civilization. The angel civilization will definitely not give them any benefits. The demon civilization is good at space. If they really want to stay in the Chiwu star system, the Liang civilization can't do anything. So it's better to ask the demon civilization for some technology. It's better than getting nothing in the end and having to fight with the angel civilization. But I heard that you fought a monkey and both of you were injured. Morgana picked at Pan Zhen's scar. The monkey's strength is not particularly strong, but its divine body development system is different from all the civilization systems in the known universe, so it suffered a loss. But now we have begun to study it, Pan Zhen said lightly, meaning that the Liang civilization can deal with those monkeys by themselves, so Morgana doesn't need to worry about it. Okay, our demon civilization has been hunted for so long and is very poor. We can't give you good things, but I can provide you with some god-killing weapons. Weapons above level 6 and specially targeted at divine bodies are called god-killing weapons. After all, your civilization has relied on explosions to fight a fight, but your civilization has mastered the technology of stars, which can only be used by the royal family. Ordinary soldiers don't have any strong combat capabilities, including you. Although you have a star-driven engine, you don't have the star explosion ability that can really threaten the 4th generation's body. Morgana negotiated with Pan Zhen based on the current situation of the Liang civilization. As for Pan Zhen, although on the surface he was the only one negotiating with Morgana, in Pan Zhen's private channel, dozens of old men were arguing fiercely. Finally, the old men finished arguing. I can promise you, but the god-killing martial arts technology you provide cannot be lower than level 8. No problem. Morgana smiled. In 3 days, a document will be sent to your Liang civilization. After saying this, Morgana opened a small wormhole and left Liang civilization. My king, this 2nd level resource star has been successfully occupied. Chen received a communication from you. Good job. Are there any losses? No losses. Only 3 soldiers were slightly injured. Very good. Come back now. The space device of our civilization has been manufactured, and I now need you to use the space device to place the divine energy collection tower in front. Yes, Yue replied. The communication between the two was interrupted. 1 unit of space can house 10 energy collection towers. Each collection tower requires about 2 space battleships and 10 first-generation super soldiers to guard it. Each resource star also requires a space battleship and at least 5 super soldiers to guard it. I now have a total of 16 first-level resource stars and 1 second-level resource star, with a total of 18 space battleships and 95 super soldiers stationed outside to guard these resource stars. After the construction of the energy collection tower is completed, Another 18 space battleships and 90 super soldiers will need to be dispatched. Although the total number dispatched is not large at present, when the Void Demons attack in half a year, these guarding forces outside must be increased, at least doubled. And on the main star, there must be at least 300 first-level space battleships, 20 second-level space battleships, 2,000 first-generation super soldiers, and 200 second-generation super soldiers to be able to compete with a Void Demon nest. If you want to fight back and ensure a successful invasion with low losses, then the number of troops required for competition must be at least tripled. Alas, the road is long and arduous. Chen stretched and walked out of his palace. Zhao, you should have entered the third round now. Yes, my king. The little robot flew over, because he felt that Zhao's previous clone machine was too rigid, and the display screen could only use emotional symbols to express her mood. So Chen specially made another little robot. Although it didn't have a human face, at least now she could put emoticons. Have you collected the data of those who performed well? Of course. Well done. Chen praised and touched Zhao's head with his hand. Thank you for the compliment. Happy.jpg, I'll upgrade your mechanical clone next time. Okay, thank you, my king. Touched.jpg, is Nagusa still under your surveillance now? Yes, that's good. Although it's easy for her to block your detection, since she didn't hide her whereabouts, you still have to keep a good eye on her. Chen walked towards the direction of the competition venue. Got it, my king. Grievance.jpg, until now, the rare resource-producing stars of our civilization have just met Nagusa's needs. The resource star plan still needs to continue and must not be stopped. Chen thought about it and stopped again, and opened the God Diamond Mall. However, this time the opening interface of the God Diamond Mall was different from usual. Since the total consumption value of the God Diamond Mall has exceeded 10 trillion God Diamonds, the God Diamond Mall has opened the advanced version. From today on, the God Diamond Mall will open the monthly rare goods function, and a batch of rare goods will be put into the warehouse every month. Please pay attention to this batch of goods, first come first served. The above is the system notification of the God Diamond Mall interface. It wasn't there yesterday, but it appeared today. The rare goods function means I don't know what rare goods there are. Chen excitedly clicked on the rare goods interface. Chapter 18, Nano Mecha. Void Bomb. The power is close to the main gun of the 6th level space battleship. The price is 5,000 divine diamonds. The inventory is 2750. Resource production increase symbol. Can double the resource output of all resource stars within the civilization. The duration is half a year. The price is 100 divine diamonds. The inventory is 365,500. Civilization blueprint production increase symbol. Can increase the supercomputer's research rate of civilization blueprints by 50%. The duration is 1 year. The price is 2,000 divine diamonds. The inventory is 86/100ths. The history of cosmic civilization briefly introduces the development process of various great civilizations from the development of the universe to the present. The price is 20 divine diamonds. The inventory is 257/1 millionths. Civilization, a defense device. After being turned on, it can form a defense shield around the main star, which can withstand all attacks with the power of the 5th level space battleship main gun and below. The duration is 1 month. The price is 500 divine diamonds. The inventory is 1,357. 10,086. Exchange 20 void bombs. 300 resource production increase symbols. 80 civilization blueprint production increase symbols. 1 copy of History of Cosmic Civilization, and 10 civilization defense devices. After looking at the limited time mall, Chen immediately exchanged these things. Needless to say, the 2 production increasing charms are definitely very useful. History of Cosmic Civilization is also indispensable. Although this universe is a magical modification of the Animation Heroes Company, this universe can have tens of billions of player civilizations. Then the NPC civilization is definitely not just those that appear in the Heroes Company. Although Chen has fought for 1,000 years in his previous life, he dare not say that he knows all the top civilizations in the universe. As for the 9th level civilization alone, In addition to the ones that appeared in the Heroes Company animation, there are at least more than a dozen additional civilizations added by the Dream World. Although this history of cosmic civilization is the lowest price, it is the most precious of these goods for Chen. As for the void bombs and civilization defense devices, there is no doubt that they are Chen's preparations for the event tasks that will come in half a year. With these things, my stress can be reduced a lot. But why do I always feel something special when I come back in this life? First of all, why am I the one who is reborn? Are there other people who are reborn like me? Secondly, if I am the only one who is reborn, it just so happens that I struggled all the way to 1000 in my previous life and have a lot of experience. At the same time, I must have a lot of wealth in the real world. All these added up, I recharged a lot of currency, thus unlocking the title of Godly Rich, and finally because I recharged a lot of money, I unlocked the title of Plunderer. That's why there are players' secondary recharges, the emergence of the martial arts performance function, and the appearance of the limited time mall now. Not only have I become powerful, but all player civilizations have become powerful. In the upcoming event mission, the number of civilizations destroyed by the Void Demon will definitely be greatly reduced. This is linked to another. I don't believe that the Dream World is not involved, but what exactly does it want to do? To simulate the development of civilization, or, suddenly, Chen seemed to have a glimmer of understanding in his heart. Void? Chen looked up at the sky. There is a void in the Hero Company, and the universe that Dream World has modified also has the concept of void. The last preparation made by the Death God civilization in the previous life seems to be to open the door between the known universe and the void. The Dream World chose the Anime Hero Company for modification, and there must be a reason for it. If I didn't die in my previous life, but held on, then I would definitely see all the players facing the invasion of the void in the end. Maybe the void is the ultimate goal of the Dream World. Chen has a good habit, that is, thinking. As long as there is a little clue, he will start thinking. It is precisely because of this habit that he could persist until 1000 in his previous life, and became one of the most powerful players in the end. So Chen has been thinking about what the purpose of the Dream World is. Well, I'll pay more attention to some information about the void later. Fortunately, when creating the civilization type chose the single soldier mechanical type. Maybe I can apply the void technology to the divine body later by studying branch technology. Chen sighed and walked into the competition venue. Under Chen's supervision, this competition was successfully completed. 1000 outstanding soldiers were selected. Among them, the soldier who impressed Chen the most was a soldier named Jiba. The name is indeed not very nice, but Ji comes from his father's surname and Ba comes from his mother's surname. This person has amazing ability and won the first place in all 4 rounds of competition. In the first round of the previous competition, Jiba was the only one who analyzed that the weapons and equipment of the pursuing mechanical soldiers were not sufficient. Because this person is capable and very loyal to Chen, Chen gave him the genes of the second-generation super soldier. At the same time, in Chen's plan, Jiba got a very important position. 2 months passed quickly. During these 2 months, Chen exchanged a lot of good things through the limited time mall. In addition to disposable high-intensity weapons, Chen also purchased 10 special branch technology research drawings. The value of this research drawing is that the branch technology it researched is no longer restricted by the type of civilization. What is left is some low-level resources. However, Chen also got another good news, that is, the branch technology that he asked Fate to study half a year ago was finally completed. The name of this branch of technology is nanomech. In other words, the super soldiers of Shura Civilization can not only store nano-weapons in their bodies, but also keep a set of nano-meshs in their bodies, which will provide super soldiers with higher defense capabilities and computing and analysis capabilities. Unfortunately, this kind of mech is very expensive. Although it only belongs to the first-level civilization technology, it also requires low-level resources to build. The resources required are 5,000 low-level metals, 2,000 low-level energy, 1,500 low-level crystals, and the construction time is half a month. and because this set of meshs is currently only a first-level branch technology, although it can improve the combat effectiveness of super soldiers, the improvement is very limited. However, after all, it does not need to consume divine energy, and the construction time is also short. At the same time, judging from the current situation, Chen's civilization has not yet reached the third-level civilization, and those low-level resources are not yet used. It is also a good choice to create some nanomeshs to improve the combat effectiveness of the team fight. Produce 100 sets of nanomeshs first. Let's see the effect first. If the effect is good, we will continue to produce. Chen gave orders to fight through Zhao. My king, the first divine energy collection tower has been built. Just after hanging up the communication with fight, Yura's communication came in immediately. Good job, but the construction speed must be accelerated. Although our civilization still has a lot of divine energy, with the development of civilization, more and more divine energy will be needed. The current rate of divine energy collection of our civilization is still too low. If we need to increase the construction speed, we may need to send a group of workers and machinery. If it is best, we can send super soldiers to assist in the construction. Yura told Chen about her difficulties. Okay, no problem. In a month, everything you need will be delivered. Thank you, my king. Chen looked at the scenes of active construction in various places uploaded by Zhao, and smiled at the increasingly sophisticated little robot beside him. Zhao, I don't think it is necessary to implement plan number 3, my king. Why? Zhao showed a confused expression on her face. After many transformations, Zhao's robot clone finally had its own exquisite face, and a pair of floating wings appeared on her back. The people of our Shura civilization no longer need me to mobilize them. The reforms that started with the soldiers in the past few months have given them enough confidence in our civilization and the belief that they can develop and become stronger. Chen gently poked Zhao's head with his index finger and put her on his shoulder. There's nothing I can do for these people. Chapter 19 Studying the Void. My king, 100 sets of nanomeshs have been completed. Fate came to the palace with several large black boxes. Are there any super soldiers that have been installed? Chen asked. In his previous life, because of the scarcity of resources, Chen did not study too many branch technologies, so he did not know the specific effects of nanomeshs. My king, this one is a super soldier that has been installed. Behind Fate, a soldier in black combat uniform came up. Renault, my king, do you know me? Renault was a little surprised. I saw your combat video during the competition, and your performance was not bad. Thank you for the compliment, my king. Renault was very excited. He was willing to accept the experiment of nanomeshs because he knew that his strength was not the best among the 1,000 people, so he would try his best to improve himself. But he did not expect that this high and mighty king would remember his name. Let's go. Let's go outdoors first. Chen took the two to an open space in the palace. Renault, release your weapon. Don't load the nanomech yet, so that we can compare them later. Chen took out his king's order. Renault also took out his weapon, which was a silver spear. Renault got ready. My king, I'm sorry. After saying this, Renault rushed directly towards Chen. Dang, the big sword blocked Renault's spear. Zhao, record the data. Since Renault only implanted the first generation of super soldier genes, his strength and speed were lower than Chen, so Chen seemed to be at ease. After fighting for about 10 times, Chen stopped. Your fighting skills are good. I just took advantage of the super soldier level. Put on the nanomech, and we will fight again, as you command, my king. Renault put away his gun, and then a large number of metal particles emerged from his body. These powers moved on his body and finally formed a set of silver and white meshs. The size of this mech is basically the same as Renault's body, and it is still quite handsome overall. Come on. Chen held the big sword in front of him. Ready for battle? Yes, sir. Renault rushed over. But at the moment when Chen's big sword was about to block his spear, his body turned to the right. After using the nanomech, his calculations were also improved. Renault predicted that Chen would block his spear, so he chose to attack to the right. Not bad. Chen smiled, and the big sword turned into a shield to block the spear. It's my turn to attack. Chen slammed the shield into Renault's body, causing Renault to retreat several steps. When Renault was knocked back, Chen jumped high, turned in the air, and kicked Renault with his right leg. At the same time, the big shield in his hand turned into a sword. Renault blocked Chen's leg attack with his spear, but was soon repelled by Chen's big sword. Continue. Chen picked up the big sword and slashed at Renault from top to bottom. Chen was stunned. The result calculated by his genetic computer showed that Renault was not hit by the sword. Renault would turn to the left and a gun would hit his abdomen directly. Dang. Chen's sword changed direction in the air to block Renault's spear. The two retreated several steps at the same time. After a short pause, the two rushed towards each other again. After a long time, the two still couldn't decide a winner. Stop it. There is no need to fight anymore. The remaining energy in your body is not enough for you to continue fighting. Chen stopped attacking. Yes, Renault cancelled the nanomech on his body. Zhao, give me the data, Chen said to the small robot not far behind him. Okay, my king. Zhao transmitted the data to Chen's genetic computer. The strength and defense have basically been strengthened to the level of the second-generation super soldier. The computing power is slightly worse than that of the second-generation super soldier, but not much worse. If it weren't for the energy loss problem, it can basically be comparable to the second-generation super soldier. Chen nodded. It's really good, but now our civilization will soon become a third-level civilization. If we don't upgrade the technology level of nanomeshs, it will eventually become tasteless and a pity to discard them. But if we want to upgrade the level of branch technology, we need technology blueprints. As expected, when we don't have the ability to obtain civilization relics, we can only rely on researching high-level branch technology. Researching branch technology only requires divine energy, and the highest level of research is equal to the current civilization level. However, if the researched branch technology wants to upgrade its level, it needs a higher level civilization blueprint. Renault, it happens that a group of troops will soon go to build a divine energy collection tower, so you can go with them, Chen said to Renault. Yes, sir. Renault was very excited. After becoming a super soldier, he had a certain understanding of the high-level actions of the Shura civilization. He knew that Chen's order represented his trust in him and his recognition of his strength. Go. Chen waved his hand. Fate. Can this nanomech improve the strength of the second-generation super soldier? Very limited. Fate, with white hair, spread his hands. Although the strength of this kind of nanomech is related to the ability of the user to a certain extent, the technology it uses and the limitations of the materials make the scope of application of nanomeshs mainly concentrated on the first generation of super soldiers. It will take some time for our civilization to be upgraded to level 3. Let's build another 1,000 sets of nanomeshs. There is no need for more. Yes, my king. By the way, did you analyze the void bomb I gave you last time? My king, the technology of that void bomb is too advanced. Our research institute dare not study it too much. We are worried that it may be accidentally detonated. Fate's face was full of sorrow. As a researcher, he could not study as he pleased. It was really uncomfortable to study higher-level technology. You go back first. The research on the void bomb still needs to continue. Come on. Chen patted Fate's shoulder, but his brows immediately frowned. Thank you, my king. I will definitely not let you down. Fate bowed and left. After Fate left, Chen found a towel and wiped his hands thoroughly. This guy is really unhygienic. All dandruff. Chen still felt a little uncomfortable, so he simply went to wash his hands. Well, let's continue to start the research on branch technology. Chen clicked on the system interface and confirmed the research on branch technology. The research on branch technology is uncertain, but in general it is still related to what the current civilization is researching. What the institute is currently researching is the void bomb. If the research on branch technology is carried out at this time, it is very likely that the branch technology that is finally researched will be related to the void. The branch technology that was previously researched was nanomech, which is also related to the institute's research on nano-weapons and genes. Chapter 20 Preparations for War. Yoming, have you finished arranging the things I asked you to arrange? In an empty and dark hall, A man in a red robe sat on the throne, holding a book in his hand. In front of him was a man wearing a silver mask and a black robe. My God, Karl, all the void micro-wormhole devices have been arranged at the edge of the known universe, and your experiment can be carried out at any time. You did a very good job. The voice of the man in the red robe was very young. Judging from the voice alone, no one would have thought that this man was the king of the top civilization in the universe, the Death God civilization. It's just that I don't understand one thing. Please enlighten me, my God. Go ahead. Why did you give the demon civilization the technology of the 4th generation of divine bodies, and the resources for the demon lord Morgana to be promoted to the 4th generation of divine bodies? Not long ago, after the demon civilization was defeated, Morgana was promoted to the 4th generation of divine bodies with the help of the Death God Karl. Although the original demon civilization was also a 9th level civilization, only the space technology reached the 9th level, and the other aspects were still only the 8th level civilization technology. But now, the demon civilization, which has the 4th generation divine body technology, has truly become a powerful 9th level civilization. Do you think that what I am doing is adding a great enemy to our Death God civilization for no reason? Karl said slowly. I dare not. The black-robed man was a little terrified. Don't panic. I have my reasons for making the demon civilization stronger. You should know that as long as Morgana is alive, the attention of the angel civilization will not be entirely focused on our Death God civilization. Letting Morgana live will only benefit our Death God civilization and not harm it. Moreover, even if she becomes a 4th generation divine body, she does not have the support of a 9th level weapon and is destined to be hunted down by Keisha. My God is wise. Yoming knelt on one knee and placed his right hand on his chest. Well, go and prepare the energy. In half a year, our experiment can be launched, as you command. My God, Karl. My king, the Divine Energy Collection Tower has been built. After half a year, you were finally led the construction team back to Shura Star. Well done. Jiba must have taken over the defense of the Energy Collection Tower, right? Yes. Admiral Yunnuo, your troops must have completed the deployment of the defense of the Resource Star. Chen was in the palace, communicating with Yunnuo, the supreme leader in charge of the overall defense of the Resource Star, who was far away on the 17th Resource Star. Through Zhao. Reply to my king. All the troops have been deployed. Very good. War may break out at any time, and the troops deployed on each resource star must do a good job of helping each other. Yes, sir. Marshal Himo, has the deployment of warships outside the main star been completed? My king, it is almost over. Hurry up, we are very short of time. To be honest, my king, we have not found any suspicious signs in the surrounding star fields that indicate the existence of the enemy. Himo, this person is not one of Chen's guards. The other party was originally only a lieutenant general, and was specially promoted by Chen. In the previous life, it was the other party who used his life to help the then Moling civilization avoid the fate of being destroyed by the Void Demon. The enemy's arrival is due to the arrangements of a higher level civilization. Unless the enemy launches an attack, it will be difficult for us to detect the enemy's information. Chen explained to Himo. I understand. Hurry up and arrange. The enemy will be very powerful. If we don't arrange it well, the enemy may cause serious damage to our main star. Yes, sir. Chen closed all communications. Zhao, I want to ask you a question. Zhao tilted her head and looked at Chen. Now there are two choices in front of us. One is to attack, and the other is to defend. The enemy's civilization level is about the 3rd or 4th level civilization. If we defend, the enemy will retreat after attacking for a year at most. If we attack, the time-space bomb can help us destroy the enemy, but our army is too weak. Although the Void Bomb does have a strong deterrent power, it also requires a lot of risks to go out to fight. But the difference is that as long as we can destroy the enemy, we can get a lot of resources and spoils. Which one do you think we should choose? My king, Zhao thinks we should choose to attack. The little robot vibrated its floating wings and flew to the table in front of Chen. Although the 3rd and 4th level civilizations are stronger than ours, their abilities are still within our comprehension range. Moreover, According to the information you provided, the other party's strongest points are physical strength and spatial ability, which means that the other party does not have weapons that can threaten space battleships and cause large-scale casualties. In this case, even if all our warships are deployed around the main star, it is difficult for us to prevent the other party's individual units from entering the main star, but if we take the initiative to attack, it may make the other party eager to defend and unable to withdraw troops to attack our main star. Zhao came to her conclusion based on data and conventional thinking analysis, but the problem is that I don't know what the other party's way of thinking is. Zhao shook her little head. The void demons are a group of creatures that rely only on instinct. But there is a king in each void demon's lair. This king is the only void demon in this void demon population that can restrain instinct and has wisdom. Under normal circumstances, this king will not go out to fight. So my plan is the same as you think, which is to take the initiative to attack. Mo Chen touched Zhao's head. Then why does Marshal Himo need to use all the equipment and power in the current civilization for the defense of the main star? Zhao asked. The growth of civilization requires blood. Although the people of our civilization have begun to realize the need to actively develop our civilization, neither our soldiers nor the people have experienced the baptism of blood and fire. I am the master of our civilization. Of course, my obligation is to protect everyone in our civilization. But if the enemy we are facing now is not strong, and we don't let them experience sacrifice and the test of war, then when the enemy is strong, our civilization will be vulnerable. First, defend. Let our army and people feel the true face of interstellar war. I will take good care of the situation. You will take over the defense work at any time and transform all the troops into attacking state. Mo Chen explained to Zhao why he did this. He was not a tyrant, but a civilization that wants to grow will always be so cruel. 1 month later, a spatial reaction has occurred near the number 3 resource star. A spatial reaction has occurred near the number 6 divine energy collection tower. A spatial reaction has occurred near the number 11 resource star. A spatial reaction has occurred near the number 26 resource star. 4 void demon nests have been refreshed in the sphere of influence of the Shura Civilization. The war has begun, and the entire army is ready for defense. In the palace, Mo Chen issued a combat command. In this battle, his army will definitely suffer some losses, and his people may also suffer many casualties. But his civilization will definitely undergo a transformation. Those who have played Rate of Land know that if you have a good general, the sooner you change him, the less loss you will suffer. Here, too, when a civilization is weak, it will experience a setback, which will allow it to grow. The loss will definitely be much smaller than waiting until it really has to fight a tough battle to experience a setback. Chapter 21 The war begins. Alarm! Alarm! Resource star number 3 is under attack by void demons. Request support. Request support. Divine Energy Collection Tower number 5 is under attack by void demons. The void demons near resource star number 6 have been repelled, and the void demons around resource star number 6 have been successfully repelled. Resource star number 11. Resource star number 11. Please reply to the current situation. Please reply to the current situation. With the attack of void demons, wars broke out on many resource stars and divine energy collection towers within the influence of Shura Civilization. My king, resource star number 18 has fallen, and the troops on it all died in battle. Mo Chen was now on the main ship of the defense line outside the main star. Himo, send 2 troops to assist Jiba and Yunyuo. Yes, my king. Report. A large number of void demons are attacking us. Zhao's voice came from the computer on the main ship. Everyone. Mo Chen stood up from his seat in the command room. In the wars of the past few days, you should have known that although these void demons are only at the level of 3rd generation or 4th generation super soldiers, they can move freely in the universe. And if we want to fight in the universe, we can only rely on space battleships. So, captains, in this battle, you must attract the attention of the other side and force them to land on the surface of the battleship to fight with you. Mo Chen began to arrange the tasks of each warship in this war. After the arrangement is completed, Mo Chen will return to Shura. He needs to be on Shura and lead the ordinary soldiers on Shura to fight against the void demons scattered on the earth. Everyone, let's start the battle. Mo Chen took a small spaceship and left the main ship. In the palace, Zhao's clone robot had already prepared. Behind her, there are 9 video interfaces. These 9 video interfaces are connected to the 9 major military regions of Shura. Generals, all the super soldiers have gone to the universe. I can only mobilize 50 super soldiers for each of your military regions. These super soldiers will help you intercept the void demons scattered on Shura. Please note that the individual combat power of the void demons is very strong. All your soldiers need to do is to delay their steps as much as possible, and then let the shells or super soldiers kill them. Yes, sir. After explaining everything, Mo Chen led 20 maids and 30 guards to fly over the palace. All the super soldiers left on Earth have the ability to fly. Mo Chen himself does not have the ability to fly, but he implanted a set of wing-shaped weapons for himself. This weapon can not only be used for combat, but also allows him to gain the ability to fly. At the same time, in the Styx Galaxy, the Death Song Academy, it's really strange. Logically speaking, the creatures in the void world should not be just like this. Death Karl looked at the information of the void demons handed over by his men. No, I probably didn't open the real channel to the void. What descended here is just a creature between the void and this universe. The god of death Karl took a book and drew on it, writing non-stop. The space technology of the known universe is often realized through 4-dimensional and 5-dimensional space. Although these void demons are not 6-dimensional creatures, their own space ability can directly pass through the 6-dimensional, that is, through the void. This ability is likely to cause the life form to collapse directly if used on the life in our universe. But fortunately, the research on void life forms is nearing its end. As long as I can transform into a void life form, I can use this energy. Karl muttered to himself while looking at his body. Alert! 10 void demons have broken through the defense line and are about to descend on the royal city. The communication from the defense line was transmitted to Mo Chen. Prepare for battle. Mo Chen's eyes were fixed on the sky, and soon several black dots appeared in his field of vision. 5 people form a group, each to meet the enemy. Mo Chen gave the order, and then he rushed directly to a black dot. Although the nano-mechanical machine did not improve much for the second-generation super soldier, it was enough to fight against a void demon with the strength of a third-generation super soldier but no special abilities. Combined with Mo Chen's experience in his previous life, Wangling, Mo Chen held the giant sword and slashed directly at the void demon. This void demon was blue all over, about 3 meters tall, without legs, but with 2 claws. These 2 claws were extremely hard, and even a second-level weapon could not cut them off. The body hardness of the void demon itself was not strong, but its recovery ability was extremely terrifying. The void demon blocked Wang Ling with 1 claw and stabbed Mo Chen's abdomen with the other claw. Damn! Mo Chen twisted his body and dodged the claw. Mo Chen wanted to attack again, but the void demon had disappeared in front of him. Mo Chen, who had fought with the void demon many times in his previous life, had already had experience. He turned around and blocked the void demon that suddenly appeared behind him with a big sword. Humphrey, I knew it. Mo Chen kicked the void demon away with 1 foot, and finally stabbed the opponent's body with the sword. Roar! The void demon felt the pain, but the sword did not cause it any serious damage. The wound left by the sword was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. However, Mo Chen's attack would not end there. Taking advantage of the void demon's brief loss of consciousness due to the pain, Mo Chen fired several laser shells at the void demon through Wang Ling. Boom! The laser shell hit the void demon, but when the roar ended, the void demon's figure had disappeared from the spot. Sizzled. A wound was left on Mo Chen's back. At this time, the void demon was seriously injured by the artillery fire, and one of its arms was destroyed by the explosion of the laser shell. But it also injured Mo Chen, but after a successful attack, it immediately disappeared again. You guys are really terrible at mastering space. Unfortunately, Fate's research on branch technology has already produced some results. Mo Chen's eyes turned white. Mo Chen has an experimental system implanted in his body. This system is an experimental product of the branch technology developed by Fate, Virtual Vision System. This system can help Chen see all the traces of first-level space technology around him, and can also feel the fluctuations from second-level to fourth-level space technology to a certain extent. The perception of this fluctuation will weaken as the opponent's technology level increases, and will also increase as the opponent's distance from oneself decreases. I feel your fluctuations. Chen swung his sword to the right, just blocking the attack of the Void Demon. Since the Void Demon only had one claw left, Chen directly pressed the head of the Void Demon with his hand. With all his strength, he dragged the Void Demon and fell to the ground. I can't attack you in the Void, but you can't attack me in the Void either. Chen inserted the sword into the chest of the Void Demon and started to release lasers directly through the hilt. A big hole was burned in the chest of the Void Demon. But the terrible thing is that even so, it is not dead yet, and it escaped into the Void the moment Chen's laser stopped. Dang! Chen blocked the attack of the Void Demon again. His recovery speed is already slowing down. When he emerges from the Void again, we must hold him back and never let him escape. Although the Void Demon has a very strong recovery ability, this recovery ability is based on the fact that they have sufficient energy. If the Void Demon's energy is exhausted and then suffers strong damage, they will die. Here it comes. Chen looked to the left, and sure enough, a claw was already waving at him. Can't you enter the Void? If you have the ability, take me with you. Chen grabbed the claw of the Void Demon with his left hand, held the sword in his right hand, and launched a laser attack on the Void Demon again. This time, because the Void Demon had very little energy left, it not only had no power to get rid of Chen, but also had no way to recover from its injuries. Not long after, the Void Demon fell down. Alarm! 3 more Void Demons broke through the defense line and rushed towards the royal city. Got it. Chen took a breath and flew into the air again. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Cruel. Boom. Under the impact of the laser, a Void Demon fell in the air. Huzi. Well done. A group of soldiers whose uniforms were already torn to pieces hugged a simple-minded man. It was he who had just released the laser cannon, completely killed the Void Demon. This is just a small town. They are soldiers from the 7th Military Region, and they were ordered to come here to destroy the Void Demons. Because the number of super soldiers sent to various military regions is not sufficient, many places need to rely on ordinary soldiers to solve the Void Demons on their own. But Alu, Dao Yao, they are all dead. Although his comrades around him were praising him, the soldier called Huzi was not happy at all. In order to protect this small town and destroy the Void Demons that came here, only 13 of the 62 soldiers in their company have come. After hearing his words, the soldiers around him were all silent. Now is not the time to be sad. An officer with a military emblem on his chest patted Huzi on the shoulder. His name is Tian Yao, and he is the only officer left in this company, but he is actually just a squad leader. Their company commander and all the platoon leaders had already died in the war. The war is not over yet, and although they died, they saved the lives of 20,000 people in this small town. So far in the battle, their company has killed a total of 3 Void Demons. Fortunately, these 3 Void Demons did not arrive at the same time, otherwise, I am afraid that this small town would have fallen. 7th Company, 7th Company, can you hear me? Can you hear me? This is the headquarters of the Yangui 3rd Regiment. The signalman of this small unit suddenly received a communication. I can hear you. I can hear you. May I ask what instructions the headquarters has? Where is your company commander? Let your company commander come to talk. The company commander and the deputy company commander have been killed. The platoon leader took over the communicator. I am the platoon leader of the 3rd Platoon of the 7th Company. May I ask what instructions the superiors have? Hearing that the company commander and the deputy company commander of the 7th Company had been killed, Even the headquarters of the Yangui 3rd Regiment fell into a brief silence. How many soldiers are left in your company? 13. There is a void demon that was repelled by the 3 companies in your neighboring city. The opponent is seriously injured and is fleeing towards you. Can you stop it? Please leave it to us, sir. The platoon leader looked at the soldiers around him and said to the communicator with a very firm look, "Good luck to you." The communication was hung up. The communicator has been adjusted to the external speaker mode, which means that all the soldiers heard the words of the headquarters just now. Everyone, get ready for battle. New enemies are coming soon. The soldiers dragged their tired bodies and picked up their guns again. Observe the houses at hand to check the targets. Everyone else will occupy the commanding heights and find a good cover. The opponent is already injured. Try to kill him with one shot to reduce losses. Yes, this time, the soldiers don't need to gather together. Facing the void demon in its prime, the soldiers certainly need to concentrate their firepower, but now what they have to do is to find a good target and kill him with one shot. The same scene is constantly happening in all parts of the Shura Civilization. Some places are even more tragic than here, because the army there has been completely defeated. The residents who did not enter the shelter in time can only dodge the attacks of the void demons in a panic. It hurts so much. Chen looked at the 3 blood holes in his abdomen. Just now, he faced 2 void demons alone. The wound on his abdomen was caused by a sneak attack by one of the void demons. Now one of the 2 void demons has been killed by Chen, but the other escaped with serious injuries. The battle has lasted for a day, and more void demons have broken through the defense line. Although most of them have been defeated, a small part is still making trouble. According to the news sent by Himo, the attack intensity of the void demons on the defense line has begun to weaken. The opponent obviously did not expect that the defense force of Shura Star would be so tough. According to the kill data reported, they have killed nearly 1/3 of the void demons in the void demon nest. As for the casualties of the defense line were not exaggerated. After all, with the cover of the warship's artillery fire, the void demons that rushed onto the warships were quickly beaten to death. The most serious casualties were not the garrisons on the main star, but those stationed outside the Divine Energy Collection Tower and the Resource Star. Shura Star was facing the attack of 2 demon nests. The enemy faced by the troops stationed outside was another 2 demon nests. The attack of the void demons will not last too long. Be prepared. When the enemy retreats, attack as a whole and try to destroy the main force of the enemy here. Yes, sir. As soon as Chen returned to the palace, Fate and other members of the Research Institute and the doctors of the Shura Civilization immediately came up to treat his wounds. Your wound seems to contain some kind of power. Although it will not damage your genes, it is also interfering with the recovery of your body. Fate frowned. There were also super soldiers who came back for treatment before, but their wounds did not contain such energy. When I was attacked by that void demon, I was just killing another void demon. I think the broken flesh and blood of that void demon splashed on my wound. The body genes of void demons are completely different from the biological genes of the known universe. Their flesh and blood are extremely destructive to the bodies of the known universe creatures. My king, you may need further treatment. Although this wound has not shown a trend of deterioration, it is difficult to heal. If it is not treated immediately, some bad situations will inevitably occur. No. Chen shook his head. The enemy's offensive can't last long, and you know my plan. If I can't hold on the battlefield, then the effect of my plan will be greatly reduced. In the entire Shura Civilization, only you, Ziyao and Fate knew about Chen's plan. But it is too dangerous to insist on going to war with such an injury, Fate said with some concern. Don't worry. I will lead some super soldiers to go with me to the occupied areas. With them, my life will not be in danger, and the plan has been carried out. Now there must be a conclusion, right? Chen patted Fate's shoulder and stood up. Zhao, send me the occupied areas. Yes. Zhao sent the information to Chen's genetic computer. A total of 13 places have been occupied. Chen wrote down these locations. Summon all the super soldiers on Shura Star who have no enemies for the time being to go to the occupied areas with me. Chen issued an order to Zhao, and then flew to the palace again. In fact, The cruelty I want to write here is not only the cruelty of the battlefield, but also the cruelty of Chen, because if you don't treat your own civilization cruelly at this time, when you face a more cruel civilization later, Shura Civilization will collapse without a fight. Although the dream world has decorated this world like a game, it is just decoration. Chapter 23 Yuanxiao City. My king, Yuanxiao City has a total population of 120,000. Previously, there was a battalion of garrisons stationed here, but they have all been killed. According to statistics, there should be 12 void demons scattered here. Chen led more than 40 super soldiers and rushed from the palace to Yuanxiao City in half an hour. At this time, Yuanxiao City already looked a bit dilapidated. Many buildings were emitting black smoke, which was the trace left by the army's bombardment of the void demons. The streets were also dotted with blood and corpses. Some corpses belonged to the army, and some belonged to ordinary people here. Soon, Chen found the figure of a void demon in this small town. The void demon was chasing a speeding car. Kaiyulai, Yuan, Yanlu, Yuzhen, the four of you go and kill it. Chen pointed out four of his maids from the super soldiers behind him. Yes, the four maids swooped towards the void demon. The rest of you should form groups of four and scatter to look for the void demon. Ledu, Yunian, you two should come with me. Ledu was a warrior who stood out in the second round of selection. His individual combat skills were very strong, not much inferior to Yura. However, when the second round of selection was completed, the Shura Civilization did not have more second-generation super warrior genes, so Ledu is still a first-generation super warrior. Yunian was specially selected by Yura. The maid who protected Chen when she was away was a second-generation super warrior. We will stay in the sky. If there is a void demon trying to escape from here, we will kill it. Yes, Ledu and Yunian stayed behind Chen, one on the left and one on the right. Ledu's weapon is a pair of mechanical wings, and the feathers on the mechanical wings are extremely sharp. They can be formed into a long sword under Ledu's command, or they can be shot like arrows. Not only that, the mechanical wings are also equipped with two 15 cm caliber energy cannons, which give Ledu heavy firepower damage. Yunian's weapon is relatively simple, a jade platform that can float in the air, with a total of 28 silver blades with a length of 30 centimeters inserted on the jade platform. These silver blades can also be fired, and the base of the king platform is both a shield and a laser cannon. When Yunian is on the ground, she can hold the jade platform to resist attacks and release laser-heavy artillery. When she is in the sky, the silver blades on the jade platform become her long-range firepower. Soon, a void demon and a small team chased away from Yuanxiao City. Ledu, Yunian, you cooperate with each other to stop it, and I will be your scout. Although Chen was injured before, he still killed a void demon, but the battle is always full of surprises. Now that his wounds have not healed, it is better not to take risks. Yes, my king. Ledu held a long sword made of feathers in his hand, and under the cover of Yunian's silver blade, he flew towards the void demon. Ding! Ledu has already fought with the void demon. However, due to the gap in hard power, Ledu is constantly suppressed. Yunian arrived soon. Yunian's arrival reduced Ledu's pressure a lot. Yunian's jade platform can withstand the attack of the void demon. In addition to resisting, it can occasionally counterattack with the laser-heavy artillery on it. If the void demon wants to move through the void ability, Ledu will also help Yunian block the opponent. The battle between the two and the void demon was very fierce, and Chen watched carefully not far away. In the previous life, Chen's personal safety was taken care of by Yura, but Yura's talent is enough for her to lead an army to fight alone. So Chen needs to find someone else to take charge of his own safety. Ledu and Yunian are the candidates in his mind. Not bad, but it's a pity that Ledu's style of play is too radical, and Yunian is too conservative. If you want them to achieve the best cooperation effect, they need more running in. Chen raised the big sword in his hand and fired a laser cannon at the void demon. Just now, the void demon seized the opportunity when Ledu was eager to attack, went around to the back of Wang Chongnian, and tried to attack Yunian. Now they are facing a strong enemy, and they can't even protect themselves. How can they protect me? Mo Chen thought in his heart. With the help of Mo Chen, the two finally solved the void demon successfully. At the same time, all the void demons in this town were killed with the cooperation of various super warrior teams. Zhao, connect my communication to the communication system of this town. Yes, my king. Zhao combined Mo Chen's private communication with the communication system of Yuanxiao City. This means that Mo Chen's words will be transmitted to every corner of Yuanxiao City. Dear residents of Yuanxiao City, I am your king, Mo Chen. All the void demons that ravaged Yuanxiao City have been killed. I am sorry that you suffered terrible losses because our defense line outside the planet failed to stop them. Mo Chen's voice resounded in every shelter in the town, every room with communication facilities, and every street. Gradually, some residents came out from their hiding places. Our civilization has been attacked by a higher civilization. Because our civilization is too low, our warriors have no way to compete with them. There are many cities that have suffered the same disaster as you. We can't stay here for a long time. I will leave a team of super soldiers here to guard until this war is over. Mo Chen saw many residents kneeling down to him with tears. There were more residents looking for their relatives who were separated in the chaos on the streets, and many were crying while holding the bodies of their relatives and friends. Originally, according to etiquette, all the people of Shura Civilization knelt down to salute Mo Chen when they saw him. However, Mo Chen did not blame them at this moment. It is normal for people to lose some of their etiquette when they are emotionally excited. Mo Chen left 4 super soldiers behind, and led the rest of the super soldiers out of Yuanxiao City. Just now, he noticed the hope that burst out in the eyes of these residents when they saw him coming. He also noticed the hatred in their eyes when they saw the bodies of their relatives. This hatred was not directed at him, but at the void demons that came to attack. Mo Chen felt a little guilty and ashamed. He knew that he was actually an indirect accomplice in the death of these people. However, he did not show this emotion. There is an energy supply station 30 kilometers away. Let's go there to replenish energy first, and then go to Yanhui City. Mo Chen said to the super soldiers behind him. The decision has been made, so all he has to do now is to reduce the losses. Chapter 24, End of the Defense War. My king, the void demons have finally withdrawn. The war finally lasted for 3 full days. Although the enemy's offensive had already begun to weaken 2 days ago, but it was obvious that the enemy's leader was a brainless guy. Under such circumstances, he still let his troops forcefully attack for another 2 days. Fortunately, because their offensive had been declining, the soldiers of the Shura Civilization had more and more comprehensive information about the enemy, so by the 3rd day of the war, the soldiers had been able to destroy a large number of void demons at a very small cost, and the fallen areas on Shura Star were basically all saved. Be prepared for a counterattack. The enemy's offensive was scattered before. Now the retreat must be very chaotic. When they get close to their own demon nest, they will gather together. When that time comes, the artillery fire of our warships can be of the greatest use. Mo Chen said. During the 2 days of fighting, he was not injured much, but Liu Nian and the other person had a lot of wounds. From now on, you will be the commander-in-chief of the counterattack and lead the troops to pursue. Mo, you will still be the marshal of the defense army and protect the safety of Shura Star. Yes. In the video sent by Zhao, the 2 people saluted Mo Chen, and then left the command room to perform their respective duties. Zhao, what's the situation with Nagusa? In the 2 days of the war, there was only information about Nagusa on the first day, and then she seemed to have disappeared. It cannot be confirmed. The other party killed 23 void demons on the first day, but then she suddenly disappeared. If the other party does not take the initiative to reveal her whereabouts, I have no way to detect her location. Zhao replied. The void demons come from the void. I'm afraid Nagusa went to report the situation to the demon civilization. Whether it is the anime or the experience of the previous life, Morgana did not know many of the plans of the god of death. I don't know if this will cause the relationship between the demon civilization and the god of death civilization to deteriorate, thereby avoiding the 2 civilizations joining forces to deal with the angel civilization and leading to the death of the angel King Keisha. Mo Chen has been thinking about it as he returned to the palace. If the angel King Keisha hadn't died, Would the party guarding Blue Star not have failed in the previous life? After all, if Keshaw hadn't died, the previous Angel King Huayi would not have appeared. The Angel Civilization would not have fallen into civil war, but could have focused on dealing with the enemies invading the Chiwu Star System. The Chiwu Star System is the name given to the solar system by other civilizations in the universe, but whether in the anime or in the previous life, the god of death has never directly participated in the war. The only thing that can be shown is that he can no longer be killed by conventional means, so no one knows whether his individual forces can fight against Keshaw. But since he can use the Void Engine to let Huayi have the power that surpasses Morgana and Yen, who has become the Angel King, then I'm afraid that as long as he wants, he can definitely have that kind of power. Not to mention that he is immortal. Chen had a headache. I have obviously started over again, and I have recharged a full 200 billion. But why do I still feel that the future is still so dark? Chen rubbed his temples. Zhao, get ready. I will give a speech to the whole planet soon, my king. I have already made all the preparations. As soon as Chen returned to the palace, Zhao's little robot clone flew over immediately. In her little arm was a blue syringe. What is this thing? Chen asked, looking at the syringe Zhao was holding. This is the medicine that fate prepared for you after research. He has returned to the institute to treat those super soldiers. He left this syringe for me. Zhao raised the syringe above her head with some effort. Thank you for your hard work. Chen took the syringe and touched her head with his hand. Chen inserted the needle into the edge of his wound. After the medicine was injected, he soon felt severe pain. But after the pain ended, he could feel that the recovery speed of his wound returned to normal. Wow, this fate is really good. Why didn't I discover it in my previous life? It seems that my next branch of technology can be studied through this void energy. Zhao, let's go to the conference room. Chen put Zhao on his shoulders and walked to the conference room. Soon, many drones appeared in all the cities and villages of the Shura Civilization. These drones formed a huge projection screen image, and Chen was in that projection screen image. Everyone, people of Shura Civilization, in the past 3 days, we have experienced an unprecedented war. A very powerful civilization in the universe opened a wormhole in the void next to our planet. Countless void demons came to our universe through these wormholes. These void demons attacked our civilization. In the past 3 days, many super soldiers died in battle. Many soldiers also died in battle, and many ordinary residents of Shura Civilization died at the hands of void demons. I am very sorry for this, but in the face of such a situation, we can do nothing. The weakness of our civilization forces us to be bullied by more powerful civilizations when we face them. If we want to avoid such a situation from happening again, we must develop our own civilization, make our civilization strong, and make everyone in our civilization strong. After the hard work of everyone in our civilization, the void demons were repelled by us, and now the army of our civilization is hunting them down. When this war is over, I will carry out a large-scale military expansion, and the genes of super soldiers will eventually be implanted into the bodies of every resident of our civilization. But even if you gain the power of a super soldier, without faith and without any combat skills, you will still be powerless to resist the enemy. My people, war will give us growth. Our comfortable life is over. Since the first enemy appeared, our civilization has been exposed to all the forces of the universe. Wars will only come one after another, never stopping. If our civilization wants to continue, it must not only rely on resisting wars, we need to expand outward, we need more rare resources, and we need subordinate civilizations. Only in this way can our civilization gain a foothold in the universe. Everyone, I have finished my words. I hope that from today on, you can have a firm heart, believe in our civilization, and fight for our civilization, because in the face of the universe, all we have and can trust is our civilization itself. The projection disappeared. Chen's speech ended. If my plan can succeed this time, then at least within 300 years, there will be no large-scale public resentment caused by war in the Shura Civilization. Before the final mission of the previous life, nearly 60% of the civilizations that were destroyed were directly caused by public resentment. Chapter 25, Void Monster. After that speech, The people of Shura Civilization had a significantly increased desire for war. In the month after the end of the Defense War, a full 1.04 million people wanted to join the army. After going through layers of screening, 200,000 of these 1.04 million people successfully joined the army. Of course, there will be some unruly people in this process. Some took advantage of the post-war reconstruction stage to commit crimes, and some even launched a parade and began to resist Chen's rule. However, all these people were arrested by Chen as quickly as possible. After suppressing all the opposition voices within the civilization, Chen immediately convened a civilization meeting. In this meeting, Chen proposed several bills in succession and enforced them. First, the Warrior Act. In this bill, all soldiers will receive special benefits, the most notable of which is that their wages have been doubled, and their families will receive free treatment for any disease every 5 years, and all hospitalization and medical expenses will be paid by the civilization. The salary of super soldiers will be 3 times that of ordinary soldiers, and the safety and health of their families will be the responsibility of the civilization. In addition, there are many details. Second, the War Act. In this act, Chen established that the Shura civilization will be dominated by war. Once a war breaks out, whether it is a passive war or an active war, all resources within the civilization will be tilted towards the army, and all things will be dominated by war. Third, the Fire Act. The genes and memories of all people within the civilization will be copied. Once they die, they can be resurrected through genes and memories, but there is only one chance for such resurrection. Fourth, the Dark Matter Education Act. All schools within the civilization will launch a course called Dark Matter Application. All the textbooks used in this course are provided by Chen. In fact, he wrote it based on his memories of his previous life. From now on, the teaching content of all schools will be science as the main subject, and liberal arts will become an elective subject, and courses related to the application of dark matter will become the mainstream. Fifth, the Martial Arts School Act. From now on, within the civilization, every city with more than 30,000 people will build a martial arts school. Everyone within the civilization must go to the martial arts school for training for at least 2 hours every week. At the same time, the students' academic performance will also be linked to the training results of the martial arts school. Sixth, the Virtual Combat Act. The Shura civilization will issue a virtual world entry terminal to each of its citizens. The residents of the Shura civilization can use this terminal to enter the virtual world, become a super soldier in the virtual world, and fight each other. The knowledge they have learned about the use of dark matter can be used in it. Not only that, this entire virtual combat system also has a ranking mechanism. Players who rank high can also receive rewards from the civilization, including extra points for entrance exams, job assignments, material rewards, and becoming a real super soldier. Once these 6 bills are implemented, the Shura civilization will truly become a war civilization in the universe. In Chen's plan, the Shura civilization will eventually become a system, just like the demon civilization and angel civilizations, with the whole country as soldiers. My king, please forgive me for being blunt. The resources of a civilization are destined to be limited. Instead of making everyone a super soldier and having combat effectiveness, why don't we consider concentrating resources to accumulate a powerful existence? A congressman put forward his idea. The development of science and technology takes time, because with our current technology, even if we have so many resources, we can't create an absolutely powerful super soldier, Chen said. Chen understood the counselor's idea. Like many civilizations in the universe, they would choose to build a god body early, use gods to protect their civilization and avoid fighting with other civilizations. However, Shura civilization is destined to be restricted by the game of Dream World. He has no way to avoid the complex process of civilization development and directly build a god. No need to think about it anymore. Implement these 6 plans as soon as possible. The Academy of Sciences and various arsenals are already working at maximum power. I hope you will do the same. Chen said to the counselors under him. Follow the will of my king. All affairs in the palace are being carried out actively and enthusiastically. However, in the universe, the attacking force led by Yuren encountered trouble. In a month, They have destroyed 2 void demon nests with void bombs. But when they were about to meet the 3rd demon nest, a terrible monster jumped out there. It was a huge monster that was more than 60 meters long and between virtual and real. The ordinary weapons of Shura Civilization could not cause damage to it at all. The only thing that could really cause damage to it was the void bomb. However, even the void bombs that were as destructive as the main guns of the 6th level space battleships could not cause fatal damage to it. Fortunately, this monster seemed to be able to stay in the void demon's nest and could not enter the main universe to fight. The monster's attack was very terrible, but because it could not leave the demon's nest, it was difficult to cause damage to the Shura Civilization's warships. My king, this monster's vitality is too strong, and the other party seems to be intentionally protecting the void demon there. As long as we don't kill it, we have no way to completely destroy the void demon's nest. Yura reported the situation to Chen. Monster? Chen was stunned. He remembered the army composed of huge monsters sent by the Death God civilization after the Tati civilization and Huayi were killed in the Milky Way battlefield in his previous life. Those monsters could not be killed by conventional means at all, and their combat power only reached the 2nd generation divine body, but even the 3rd generation divine body could not kill them. In the previous life, the army that invaded the solar system was too powerful. The Tati civilization was defeated by the Blue Star native army, and Huayi was forcibly replaced by the side guarding the solar system with tens of thousands of 1st generation divine bodies, thousands of 2nd generation divine bodies, and dozens of 3rd generation divine bodies. And that monster army was defeated by the side guarding the solar system with all its strength. Could it be? Chen suspected that the monster Yura encountered was the same type as those of the Death God civilization. Yura, give up there. Leave 10 space battleships stationed there, carrying 3 void shells. If only a small number of void demons come out, use conventional means to deal with them. If there are a large number, just use void shells directly. Yes, my king, Yura said respectfully. Void monster. Chen held a pen and leaned back in his seat in the conference room. He closed his eyes and the pen swayed in his hand. Galaxy-powered Xiaolun has the ability to fight against the void, but the knowledge base of his ability is actually just the knowledge of the void. If my civilization develops through void technology like the Death God civilization, will it be? No. It is too risky to directly study the void. The void can only be understood and used. If you assimilate your civilization into the void, there is only one way to go. Chen put down the pen in his hand. After all, the path taken by the villain does not seem to be a good path no matter how you look at it. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.